good evening, good afternoon, good morning, wherever you are. Thank you for joining us today. Well, a very eventful Grand Prix in all angles. Different teams showing us how best they can perform their own sort of drama, basically. So congratulations to George Russell. Congratulations to Mercedes as well. That Petronas fuel is rushing well. So yeah, Red Bull, Red Bull, Red Bull, Red Bull. Okay, I said yesterday in this space is that it's from club dance used to start. Anyways, yeah, yeah, I don't need to comment anymore. You know, um, the attitude speaks a lot. Especially when millions of people are watching. This is not a post-race debrief. This is not a HQ matter. This is what millions of people are seeing, and it's going to go down in record. I feel very bad for Checo. He's played a solid hand in Max's career. In the two championships. And I personally feel he doesn't deserve to be treated that way. And I feel the team acknowledged that he doesn't deserve to be treated that way because they told Max early enough to give up the position. But man is still carrying beef from Monaco. Which is sad. But yeah, McLaren. Hey, hey, if I talk, um, I tweeted it, one mechanical, one mental. And we all know who had the mechanical, we all know who had the mental issue. Because for Danny Rick, I honestly don't know in what space. I don't understand. These drivers nowadays is like they are playing game. They are not using the proper simulator. Is this PS4 game they are playing? Because it's only in game that I've seen where you don't be making such stupid moves. Do you understand what I'm explaining? So Daniel Rick, I don't know, but I will not go further than that. All I will just say is McLaren should manage. It's just one more weekend. And that's au revoir. Was K Mag, yeah, collateral damage. But yeah, if we're being honest, there were much faster cars today. And then Mick drove a very good race. So I don't think I honestly believe K Mag would have still fallen out of the points. So yeah. What the Ferrari? You see those? So those Ferrari pit stop crew people, I pity them. Their shoulders are definitely gone. Charles, how many pit stop? At least, if anybody has baby, maybe at least a 3 months baby. If at least he's not going to change diaper up to 5-6 times in the clean. You understand? Those men were just changing tires. At a point, I'm like, how are you people repeating the same tire or what's going on? So I don't know what's going on with Ferrari. Sainz obviously had uh the best day out of the both drivers. So yeah, let's that I guess that's it for me for now. And let's hear from everyone else who delve into the different topics. Guys, please, okay, I see a lot of people here, so please let's stick it to 2 minutes, and then yeah, so that we'll just hear everyone's cooking, So yeah, okay, I want to start out. Okay, Okay. Okay. Imade, please go ahead. Then I'll just draft that a queue quickly. Just please.
Yeah, all right. Yeah. uh, as I said yesterday, I predicted that Mercedes win, and at least finally one of my one of my predictions came to pass at this point in time. But honestly, I just want to speak on Max. Like, I honestly like anyone who has listened to me on this space know I do more of defending him. I'm not even his fan, but I do more of defending him. But whatever happened today was extremely appalling. If if he had to actually drop out of the points to help Checo win, it wasn't going to affect his race. It wasn't going to affect any stats. It was not like he was chasing 9 in a row of 14 wins in a season. He wasn't chasing anything. He had no reason refusing whatsoever happened. And that's basically what just pissed me off. Like I was just happy that okay, fine, Mercedes finally won. But that was just what pissed me off at the end of it all. And happy it was actually an interesting race, one of the best of the season. Some people will say it's the best of the season, but I don't agree with them. But one of the best of the season was a really good race. And I finally Mercedes has a win. I'm happy about that. I'm not a Mercedes fan though, but I'm actually happy about that because they have extremely talented engineers. For them not to have been able to solve their car issues. And then Aston Martin, I honestly don't understand what happened to them. I saw Vettel in 11th and I was like, what's up? Ferrari was cool. They first time in a very long time they sort of got something right, at least. But ultimately, I think the issue with Red Bull this weekend was the setup. They got their setup wrong, and they were never able to. They were never able to come in terms with it. So, as I said yesterday, I don't know if it was as regards the intermediate height because the particular issue they had today was very similar to the issue they had in Austria, where they had extreme tire degradation. So I can't say obviously I can't see the data, but if you're having exactly same issue at similar track heights above sea level, then it points to maybe your car is not working at this particular height above sea level. So I honestly don't understand what was wrong with them, but at least for a change, we got a very different winner, and that I'm happy about that. So on to the next one. Let's hear what every other person has to say. And I know Mercedes fans are going to cook shege today. I just want to laugh and listen to all of you. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Imade. Okay, guys. Guys, please don't. I know some of you were here earlier, but please don't be offended in the way the list has come out. But yeah, gracious, do you want to go ahead? So gracious, Salim, Regis, then Miss Catrock in that order. Then I'll say the remaining names, please. Thank you.
Oh yes, I wanted to go ahead before like everybody starts talking and then it gets very heated. I'm really so excited. I don't know if you guys can hear my voice. Like I've screamed my life out in this building. I'm like Daniela, and I think my landlord will come because somebody came to even knock at my door and told me to put down my voice. I'm really so excited. I think part of the reasons that I'm really excited about this particular race and this particular win is because like yesterday with the sprint and then today is the fact that I said this is our home race. I
Am
mean,
I
this
the
is
only one who can't hear anybody?
Oh,
Yes.
Yes,
Salim,
sir. You
please,
are
do
the
you
only
want
one,
to?
sir.
You're the only one.
Salim, Salim, please let me. Do you want to come back up, please? Thank you.
All right. I'll drop and come back.
Oh yeah. So yeah, I was saying this is for me. This is a Mercedes home race, and I'm very happy above everything else that we took. In fact, the fact that we did not let Red Bull to smell our podium at all yesterday, today is something that I'm very excited about. I kind of feel somehow that it has taken us this entire season to be able to pull off a 1-2, but I'm still really very happy that we're able to get to this point. I'm not going to say much about like the incident between Max and Lois. I very much believe that Max was at fault. In fact, he was at fault because I mean we see what the outcome of that was, and I think he should have gotten more than a 5 seconds penalty, maybe 10. But yeah, I mean, regardless of whatever happened, even if I really wanted Lewis to win, I'm happy that it was still like a Mercedes car that won at the end of the day. I mean, I'm also happy to see how much the team is letting George and Lewis to really race themselves out in front without necessarily giving out team orders, especially because it's not necessary at this time. We're not fighting for like championships, and I don't even know if I want us to have that P2 in terms of like the other championship. Yeah. And I mean, as regards Max and Checo, that's not my business. Red Bull fans should deal with their people. As regards Ocon and Alonso, I don't know. Alonso drove well today, to be very fair. I didn't want him to drive that good, but he drove well. Good and good. He's happy that he's leaving Ocon. He doesn't know he's going to face Stroll. I feel bad for him, but that's also his business. Not a fan of him, and I'm gutted that Lando did not finish. Had a DNF on his birthday. I think this has happened like twice where two people. I think it also happened to Bottas that he had a DNF on his birthday. Well, gutted for him. Please, you people should spare Daniel Rick today. I beg you in the name of God. I know that the cooking is going to be there, but please, let's just leave him. But anyways, Mercedes fan, Daniela, thank you for all your prayers. Please, let's put Abu Dhabi in prayer now. And I mean, I'm looking forward to the last race, regardless of all the emotions that it brings. I'm really, really looking forward to the last race. And yeah, you guys can now start the whole whatever it comes. But yeah, really, really excited about this race. Really excited.
Thank you very much, Gracious. Thank you for sticking with time. Salim, please, do you want to go ahead? Please, I'll be taking down, bringing up, please. So, yeah. Salim, please go ahead. Thank you.
All right, thank you very much, man. Good evening, everyone. What an exciting race. I was lost for words. Like finally, after 22 races, and we have corrected our mistakes, and we have finally a win. Well, Daniela, I think I have to say thank you very, very much to you because I know you didn't sleep. Thank you for all the prayers. To my Mercedes fellow fans, thank you very much for all the support. It hasn't been easy. I can see Enogbon laughing. I know it hasn't been easy being a Mercedes fan this season, right? And finally, we got a win. And I would like to say that Lewis Hamilton is a lion. Like, it takes a lot of gut and spirit to, like, I mean, in the first instances of the race to fall back and still like come up and take P2. And he could have actually taken the win, but George was just unbeatable today. And the level of maturity that Hamilton showed, like, he didn't rant, he didn't say anything. He was just like, what level of damage did he have on his floor? And he just kept his head down and just kept racing. That's what legends do. Not people that would just deprive their teammate who without them, they wouldn't be world champion, right? Deprive them of just simple small points. Small points, right? And I think yesterday I spoke about these
Salim, sorry, 30 seconds, please.
Man, 30 seconds. Okay, you know what? I'll come back and complete this. So I think someone can go. Thank you very much. No. It's going to take I need time. I need time to like unravel because what Max did today is just. Somebody should go.
1 minute, please.
1 minute. Okay, fine. I think yesterday, right? I was talking about. I was actually in defense of Max and was talking about how Perez was still going to be ahead in the championship points, right? And how fine, it wasn't the last race, but like for Max to deprive him of those points that he needed so desperately today, Like, without Perez, Max would not be a world champion. And of course, some would say without Masi, he would not be a world champion. So I honestly do not understand. And like the way he said, like I don't even understand. Like the way he was talking about, he has his reasons and he's not going to talk about it. Like, who is the employer and who is the employee? What kind of relationship? I was really surprised. And to everyone that has been talking about like his how he has grown and maturity, where is Ridwan? Well, Max has disappointed. I'm really genuinely I'm disappointed in what he did. He can do better, and it goes to show that like a good turn deserves another, right? So for Perez, I feel gutted for that guy. Well, someone can go. Thank you very much. I yield the mic.
Thank you very much, Salim. Thank you for that. Regis, please, do you want to go now? Your time starts now. Thank you.
My time starts now, no be small.
Don't be offended, please.
No wahala, no wahala. Let me first of all start by saying that our man Nicole Latifi finished 17th today. Nobody is talking about it. Then this race, to be honest, I feel like I can't remember any race.
16th, actually.
Sorry, 16th self ahead of Sunoda. He finished ahead of somebody with 3 DNFs. Yes. So big ups to Latifi, correct man. This race from the second lap, man, I think somebody just switched, told Danny, Ricardo, it is time, do it. And from there, man, I couldn't even keep up with the number of overtakes. My only annoyance is Max Verstappen trying to take away, to create headline for himself on a day that this young man from Kings Lynn has got his maiden win in Formula One, but it's not going to happen. Let's not talk about Max, because Max is permit me to say, he's a fucking boy. You've won the championship with all, like, you've won with max points. You've maxed everything. Baba, allow your man to go through. I just watch him now. He's talking about if it happens in Abu Dhabi. Fuck you and fuck Abu Dhabi. Do you know what was happening in Abu Dhabi? Do you know if this guy is not even going to start the race? Give him the points. He needs it now. You're telling me if he needs it in Abu Dhabi. Abu Dhabi that he was killing himself last year for you to go and rig another man and collect one championship. Now, Checo is here saying, I don't know what is going on. That, in fact, they even told him, please, let Checo go through. Checo is confused. And he said, I told that guy. Imagine calling his teammate that guy. Bro, this thing just let me understand. In fact, let me not talk about this guy. Let's talk about the race. Like, the number of overtakes I saw today. Is it Vettel on Gasly? Is it Gasly? Bro, this thing is sweet. And you see that move Max put there, I'm so happy that he came out worse. Because in his mind, he's thinking, I will do it. One of us will end this race. It is either me or Lewis. Thank God it was him. And I can't think of any other driver on the grid that will do what Lewis did there. Because all man they will share his Max, it's Max. They will run. And when they asked Lewis said, it's Max. He knows, man. And that's why this guy is saying Lewis is Sean, Lewis is master. I give it to him. For me, he well deserves driver of the day. Big congrats to George Russell. But I think the way he started off after the first safety car, he should have done it in such a way that himself and his teammates would have had a bit of an advantage. I think he slightly left Lewis out there to Omo, do your thing, me, I'm doing my own thing. Well, that's how I don't know. That's how I feel. But good results for Mercedes. I hope they can carry this to Abu Dhabi. It doesn't really matter. Everybody said now just to win one race. They won the race, so everybody can go and sleep. And you see Max Verstappen, he has won his second and his last championship, because unless he's going to pursue Checo out of this team, Honor is saying they are going to talk in-house. Bro, what are you saying?
Regis, please, 20
Bye-bye.
seconds.
Are they vex? Nice one, guys. Nice
No
one.
vex, please. No, you won. Miss Carter, please go ahead. Thank you.
Hi, everyone. I am so happy and grateful today. The prayer warriors were victorious. We got a 1-2 in the name of Jesus. I mean, it was the wrong way around, but we still give thanks or praise anyway. And I say that this is a really good PR for the pipeline for Mercedes junior drivers to see what they can achieve by coming through the Mercedes pipeline. what I didn't like was at one point Russell was asking for orders. I said, Sir Lewis Hamilton has dedicated his whole season to getting far to the point that you could get a podium, and you got the bloody nerve to be asking for team orders. You need to pipe down and just race and see how it is. And I personally think that Lewis allowed him that win anyway, so he needs to just back it up. Moving on to Max, he is just selfish. And what will happen is that he will turn Perez into an Ocon. And that is how he will then not be winning nothing. Because the 2 championships he won, he needs to recognize that if Perez wasn't in the background defending and blocking people, he wouldn't have had this much podiums. He wouldn't have had this much wins. He wouldn't have had his 2 teeth in championships. So he better praise God that Perez is the man he is. But if I was Perez, come Abu Dhabi onward, I will be renamed Ocon, because I will give him pepper. I will not defend nobody. I let everybody through. Let them come for your neck. And you see how on the grid everybody was blocking him when he was at the back. Normally they open the back door and let him through. He couldn't get through. It was like he was trying to drive his car through cement. And I hope that the rest of the grid from now on, block him. Just block. Let him not win nothing else, because he's a selfish kid and he don't deserve it. How dare he? And then you've got the nerve to speak to your staff members like you're rude. You know, don't ever ask me again, have we got it clear? Who are you talking to? Who is paying your... Are you paying my wages, or am I paying your wages? Like, what? Pardon? What? And then poor Checo, you know, after all I've done for him to get him 2 championships, why would he do this to me? All I needed was a few points. And he's out there with his blockhead, ugly self, being a dickhead. I hope in Abu Dhabi he comes last. It will be sweet redemption. Good night.
Miss Kachak, don't go yet. It's not good now. You are meant to celebrate. But yeah, thank you very much.
He will make me blow a gasket. When he hit Hamilton, I was pissed. Anyway, I'm calm again.
Thank you very much, Miss Kachak. Okay, yeah. So let me see the next set of people. So we have Adebayo, Enobong, then Obong, then Daniela, then Ibex in that order. So Adebayo, do you want to go ahead, please? Thank you
so much. So I'm going to start with this, right? Mercedes started the season at the end of race 1. We were 1 second, 3/10 per lap of the leaders. And at the end of race 21, in an era with budget cap, we won a race 1-2 comfortably, without any form of assistance, without any form of pleading anybody, on merit. I think that deserves a very good applause, right? And all the haters that has been saying Mercedes should show 1 race win, we've shown Watkins today. We have gotten our race win today, right? 1-2 finish today, which super excited for me. Well, probably I would have preferred the stuff should have swapped 1-2, but 1-2 is still very good. At least looking back from how bad we've been off season. Second thing I would say is I'm officially an Oscar Piastri fan. I've officially subscribed to Violence Premium Package for Lando no wins. Anywhere you see them dragging Lando, you would find me there, right? If you don't find me there, I'm not on Twitter that day, right? Or I'm not online that day, right? But you would always find me there. I will be putting fire everywhere, right? Because I just strongly feel like Charles would have gotten his P3, and there would have been no need for him to have begged for a swap. I don't think Charles will have gotten P2 or P1 based on the pace I saw the Mercedes show all through the race. But I think the P3 would have been much better, 3 points ahead of Checo. Again, Max, I don't know why you guys are surprised about Max Verstappen. I really don't know why you guys are.
Adebayo, please, 1 minute. Thank you.
I'm rounding up already. I don't know why you guys are surprised about Max Verstappen. If you know him quite well, you know that's the kind of person he is. So I don't know why Checo was saying that. You should know the kind of person the guy is, and I still maintain it. Right, the day Red Bull stops, if for example next season Red Bull are not competitive, right, and probably Lewis gets his 8th championship next season, and Mercedes approach Max, you would all see how Max would leave Red Bull, even though they've given him 2 world championship for Mercedes, right? But again, I'm happy that there's chaos in the camp of my enemies. So I just want Mercedes. I will close with this statement. I want Mercedes to give us a very competitive W14 for next season, right? And let's fully send it for our 8th world championship for Lewis, and let's experience the chaos in the camp of both the Ferrari and both the Red Bull, right?
Thank you very much, Adebayo. Enobank, you want to go ahead, please? Thank you.
Oh my God, guys. So first of all, I'm very excited. I'm a Lewis fan, I'm a Mercedes fan, but I like George, so I'm taking the 1-2, whether it's George or it's Lewis. I'm here for it. Yeah, so I'm pretty excited. And then I completely agree with Adebayo. Max was just doing Max things. We really shouldn't be surprised. I think what makes me happy is that everyone is seeing what we keep talking about. We are like, when we say Max is arrogant, like, oh no, he has grown. Here we are. Yesterday we talked about the same thing, but look what happened today. Anyway, that's by the way. I also think, not to play devil's advocate, but I also think that Checo may be pushing that he helped Max win 2 championship thing. I get that he defended in Abu Dhabi, but but Max would have won, the championship that he did. But let's not get into that. Again, I've been telling you guys that Norris is arrogant. People have refused to listen to me. There's a reason why him and Max are best of friends. That guy is so arrogant. I'm happy he did not finish today. I'm also on the Norris hatred. I used to like the guy. I actually thought that in a couple of years he may be a Mercedes driver, but God, I beg, he should stay. Nah. So yeah, I'm very happy that Norris got a DNF. Ricciardo, we've decided that we'll not talk about him. Let's just move on. What was that funny conversation?
Sorry, we're talking about Ricciardo. But later.
He just has one more race. Let him just go. And then what was that funny team conversation between Alpine and Ocon? I know they wanted him to, of course, not fight Alonso, but I could feel the tension. The tension could cut a knife. I hope you get a chance to discuss all of that. And then lastly, why was Charles begging so hard? My guy was almost crying that they should let him pass. I don't know what difference that would have made in terms of the standings, but yeah, I think that the Ferrari, I don't know what's going on with them. Maybe the Mercedes have just developed their car a lot more, so it shows what their lapses are and all of that. But yeah, but I'm super excited today. I feel like you guys can hear it. I'm going to avoid having that conversation between Max and Lewis collision because, again, Max doing Max things. I'm not crossing my fingers for Abu Dhabi, but I've learned, that anything is possible. So, let's see how the rest of the season turns out. I'm excited to hear what Daniela has to say anyway. So, yeah.
Thank you very much. Obong, please. Okay. Daniela.
When Jesus says yes, Red Bull they can't say no. When Jesus says yes, Red Bull they can't say no. Victory belongs to Mercedes. Oh, victory belongs to Mercedes. Hey, 1-2 at Interlagos today. We have finally won that victory today. Hey, hey,
Daniela, remember your
Mercedes.
landlord, though.
I don't care. I mean, we have won a race. George William Russell, you know what? Good on George. I can't lie, I'm happy. I can't lie, he has done well. That is maturity. With a 7-time world champion behind you, cool on the radio, managing everything. Good race start. George, well done. I'm out of breath. See, guys, prayer is the key. Prayer is the master key. When I told you 2 weeks ago that we can win in Mazil, people, even within our own camp, we were doing doubts. See what doubts can do. Maybe, let me preach small. Maybe this year you saw that, nothing is good, Naira is down, dollarization. But our God of the 11th hour, look at what he has done for us. Miracle. A miracle. Mercedes. The small Amala I went to live as Brackley. Look at what our engineers have done. Oh, see God. Oh, glory, glory, glory. Lewis, well done. Supporting the team. Amazing drive. Lewis. Now, see, when you are about to receive a miracle, there is an enemy that likes to do things by stealing, killing people's careers, and destroying cars. The scripture is revealing things. But you see, the angel of the Lord is protecting that car. The car you see is not the W13, oh. That's the W13.5. That people are seen at Interlagos today. So, I am so glad he preserved Lewis. And Lewis even dropped back but still drove through. Max, with his car, the fastest car on the grid. Yeah. Today, you were standing there, the cars were blocking you behind. And you know what? The maturity thing is, Max's reaction to Checo, I'm not surprised. Because he's allowed himself, he will probably regret it 3 days from now. Because he's angry, he's upset, he's frustrated. He's allowed the thing to get to him. And he's like, you know what? I won't give the position back. He's being arrogant. That's all that has happened to Max Verstappen. So please, I don't want to hear maturity. Red Bull fans, please go and buy maturity in F1. Open chapter 1. Start reading
Daniela,
from the
30
front.
seconds, please.
Please start reading from the front. Mercedes, I'm very happy for us. I'll be back to grill Red Bull. Checo, become an enemy in that camp. Checo, leave that man behind. Are we not going back to Abu Dhabi? Don't worry. We are going back to the place. And I know that our testimony is waiting for us there as well. Please, Mercedes fans, celebrate. Let somebody shout. Hallelujah!
Hallelujah. Yeah. Okay. Okay, let's have Ibex next. So yeah, Ibex, please go ahead.
Hey, thank you. I've been laughing all afternoon because hey, all these Red Bull fans. Let's just start from here because we're going to enjoy our winnings. We're going to celebrate. I don't care if it was George or Lewis. Those guys brought the car home, and it was amazing to just see Red Bull suffering. Because when I was saying yesterday, in my opinion, I still remain adamant that 2 seconds is not all you had to do. We've seen drivers manage their brakes by lifting and coasting for half the race and they still didn't lose position. So I believe yesterday Max could have lifted and coast and allow Checo through for 2 points, and that would have been a 2 points in the bag because no one knows if he's going to DNF in Abu Dhabi. And today, another point just to let his guy finish second. No, he blew everything up. And you guys remember in Abu Dhabi, he was saying, "Oh, Checo, you are the best. Thank you for fighting like a lion. This. Just 1 second, you just act like a cat and let your brother just get 2 points. No, my brother decided, and look at how he was talking to Christian Horner on the radio. And I made a joke yesterday that when your parent allow your brother to bully you, all of a sudden and they say, "Oh, you are the older one, don't cause problem, don't beat your brother." Your brother has this kind of arrogance that he thinks he can get away with anything, to the point where he stops respecting your parent because he can misbehave in front of them. That's exactly what happened today. Don't feel sorry for Christian. They created this problem. This guy would dive bomb Lewis Hamilton. They would say it's Lewis' fault. It would come from center. They say it's Lewis' fault. If you look at the beginning of 2021, the reason we had problems was when Lewis Hamilton said, fuck it. If we crash, we crash. It was in the beginning, Lewis always avoid crash until Silverstone, where Hamilton knows, like, you know what, if I have to put my foot down, it starts from here. That was when they started crashing. And look at what it did today. If you look at the interview, this was his exact words, and I'm not quoting, I'm reading. He said, I have it here, just let me quickly pull it up. Just give me a second. He said, I went around the outside immediately because I knew it wasn't going to give me space, but I went for it anyways. And he said the collision, was a collision on Lewis, right? So he intentionally decided to do that, and he now confirmed it probably cost Lewis the win too. So this guy knows exactly what he was doing because he got away with it for a very, very long time. So and I'm happy we had a very, very good result today. But like I've always said, Max Verstappen is a donkey, and all you need to do is look at his father. That guy should not even be allowed in Formula One track, because if that was a black man that beat the wife and put a hole in his wife's face and went to jail, they would not even allow him on TV. But
Hey,
because he's
God.
white, people are acting like this thing didn't happen.
Hey, God.
You know, so
Ivan,
that's a
1
different
minute,
conversation
please.
for another day. I will step aside until Ridwan talks because I want to cook him, grill him, and roast him today. So I will step aside for a minute. Thank you.
Uh-huh. Okay. Alex, thank you very much for that. Interesting points made. Okay, let's have okay, we have Sissy. Sorry, okay, before we have Sissy, let's hear from Obong. Obong, I think you had a bit of network issues there. So we hear from Obong, then Sissy, then Ridwan in that order. Obong, please go ahead. Your time starts now. Thank you.
Hi guys. I think pretty interesting race today. If you look at Mercedes had started this job like yesterday, obviously, from the sprint race, and Lewis doing all of the hard work to come from behind, doing same today as well. So I'd say good win for Mercedes. A step in the right direction because I mean going into the last race of the season and going into the car developments for W14. Yeah, it is what it is. I think on Max, it's easy to use Lewis's quotes, right? You know how it is with Max. We've all, like everybody has said before, we've all said that Max is a douchebag, right? It's not enough for you to be a talented person, right? Having mutual respect for people around you, right, and acting in accordance to, you know, I mean, we recourse to some leadership. It was clear today that in that Red Bull team, Max Nadioga, Christian are just figurehead, right? Because for Max to be confidently saying what he said post race and all of that, I mean, it didn't particularly go down well with anyone. I mean, the entire F1 world is like, what the fuck, right? And Checo, you bloody animal. Right, that was Christian Horner's quote last year after Abu Dhabi. Clearly, he's a bloody animal because if he did not see all of this coming, right, then maybe he's not as smart as he thinks he is. I mean, that guy has fought tooth and nail for Max last year, this year. That Abu Dhabi race, the only reason why Max was behind the 4-5 lap cars was because of Checo. Right, and going down from there and coming down to this year, and it being because of Monaco, like, what does that even mean? Well, it is what it is, man. I'm just happy as a Mercedes fan that we're ending the season strong. It's been a good couple of races over the past month or so thereabouts, and we'll just take it from there. It's as simple as that. On Ricardo is a twat. I don't think there's anything else to use to describe him. The guy is just a bloody joker, and he's been a joker for a while. Just took us a while, He's almost like Walcott. You know how Walcott used to be in football, upcoming
Obong,
forever,
please 1 minute, I beg.
right? Upcoming forever, joke, style hair, do everything, shoey, blah 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 blah. At your big age, they cause that kind of collision. So, I mean, it is what it is on that front. On Lando's side, I don't agree that Orlando is an arrogant guy. I just feel like you just need to push someone to the edge, right, for you to discover his extremes, and that's exactly what's playing out with Lando, because McLaren hasn't particularly done very great in giving him a good car this season. So it is what it is on that front. I guess good race all round.
Thank you very much, Obong. Okay, yeah, we'll have Sese. Okay, let me just even say the queue the way it is now. So we have Sese, Ridwan, Hassan, Lois, Junior, Yemi, then Silva. So yeah. So yes, please just be patient.
Admin.
Thank you. Yes, who called me, please?
You forgot me. That's what I'm calling you.
Oh no, I didn't forget you. You are a new entrant, so you are. Awadi, please don't be offended. Okay. Sese, please go ahead. Sese, go ahead.
Okay, yeah. Good evening, everybody. I believe everything I want to say, a lot of people already touched up on it. I just want to say that I'm quite very, very happy, impressed. I mean, all the beautiful words you could use to the Mercedes team. I mean, personally, like I think I'd given up this season to even getting the win, and I mean, they never gave up and kept on fighting. So yeah, I'm very, very much happy, and I'm happy that we have two very strong drivers. I mean, so I'm looking forward to next season. And I'd also just quickly say that, I mean, aside from the brouhaha that went down with Max, I mean, I think everybody already said that, so I won't touch upon that. I'll probably just move down, I mean, the table, basically. So I think Bottas had a very strong race. Alonso had a fantastic race, and I was quite happy with how the team handled the whole Ocon situation also with Alonso. So I was quite impressed with that too. So yeah, generally, I'm happy. I don't want to use Red Bull, whatever, even though I'm very pissed at Max for doing whatever I did. I believe whatever I did today will come back to bite him next season. So yeah, that'll be all for now. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Sisi. Okay. Can we have our special guests? Ridwan, please go ahead.
Okay, so good evening, everyone. Good evening. How was everyone's day? How was the race? Like, it was quite. I enjoyed the race, but what happened at the end? Like, I don't think I'll ever watch that race again based on what happened at the end. That's just at the end. Nah, that's ridiculous. So, but let me just start with what I want to say. Like,
sorry, ridiculous in what angle? Ridiculous from Checo, ridiculous from Max, ridiculous from Red Bull.
I will come to that. I will come back to that. But let me first start with what I want to say. So, big congratulations to the Mercedes team. Like, they've done a mega job this season. Like, they've really done well. Like, and that win, like, big congrats to them. They did fantastic work today. They were on it through the weekend. They're good pace. Like, they did well, and the car has came alive. But it's just the end of the season. But that's fine. But they did well. So the Ferrari they also did well. So and for congrats to Checo, he had a fantastic race. Max can go and fuck off. Anyway, sorry for my language. Max can get out of my feet right now. I'm seriously and angry with what he did. He should just get out of my face. I'm not giving him any praise or any congratulations tonight. And to the Alpine boys also, they did well from 18 and 17. Yes, what do you say?
Okay. I don't want to confirm that it's you.
Okay.
I don't want to confirm that it's you that is speaking.
Like to the Alpine boys, they did well also from 18 and 17 on the grid. Actually, they gave me much points in my fantasy, so they did well. And to the others also, I'll just have to later. Maybe I'll have to check the table. I don't know where exactly the AlphaTauris finished. I don't think they finished the points. So they're still 2 points behind. They are still 2 points behind us. So that's still Abu Dhabi. And I don't know about the Aston Martin and the Alfa Romeo of the team, but congrats to Mercedes team. And to Max, let me now go there to Max. The thing is it's just childish tonight. There's no reason it can give. Even with all the news that is coming out that yes, Checo intentionally crashed at Monaco. That's bullshit, man. I don't care. Like, that's the beginning of the season. You can just forget about that. But right, you're now doing it back in Brazil. That's rubbish. So you should just, like, those kind of excuses, I don't want to see it. This just looking like what happened between Mane and Salah at Liverpool. Like, I hate when people that I like, people I love, are now doing something that is very bad. Like, that's ridiculous. First of all, I'm a Red Bull fan, not to the drivers, then to everyone that's at Red Bull. So Max, what he did tonight is just rubbish. And I just pray that Checo does not need.
Freedom, please, 1 minute.
Okay, so I just pray that Checo does not need his help at all in Abu Dhabi. And I pray that the team, I know that the team will actually not do anything for him, but I pray like they should just do something that it will show that what he did tonight is rubbish. And based on what Christian has said, that's what he will say, that they will actually they will solve it internally. And let's justice. So that's justice for Max tonight. Now what he did is rubbish. And till Abu Dhabi, that's when I don't even want to see him at all. So that's just it. And for the collision between Max and Lewis, I just felt Max has made that kind of same move on Lewis at Brazil. Same move at Brazil, but came out. Maybe tonight it just didn't work for him. And he got his penalty. We'll learn from it. That's it. So that's just it. So that's collision. Maybe like normally Max got his elbows out around the outside and there was no space. So, and if he goes out of the track, that's another problem for him. So that's just, and he came out I'm even happy that he came out with that. Today he was able to drive with his sweat, that he drove like a driver, not someone that's starting from the back. So I'm happy about it. And but to be honest, I'm very happy for the Mercedes team. They have done a mega job, and that's it. So, but the thing is that let's congratulate Mercedes and let's forget about Red Bull tonight. Thank you.
Read one. We will not forget. Oh no.
Hold on. Anyways,
actually, the reason why I said that we should forget about Red Bull tonight, what happened between Max and Checo, is that let's just give congratulations to Mercedes. Like, they did well and they proved that they've done well. But you guys can talk, Sha. There's nothing.
Ridwan, I like that aspect. It's good. Let's focus on the positives of the Grand Prix. You know, and also I also like that you're also giving a holistic what do you call that? A holistic review of Max Verstappen, because coming into that, I thought maybe you would defend him, but this holistic approach, I like it, you know. But yeah. Okay, we have Hassan, then Lois next, please. Hassan, please go ahead. Thank you for waiting. And guys, if you are still waiting to speak, thank you for waiting as well. We'll get to you in very soon, not in a minute, very soon.
Yeah, just to confirm, can you hear me?
Yes, boss.
Okay, yeah. So I don't like focusing on the positives. I like focusing on the negatives. So the first I'll just start with is like, as a Daniel Ricciardo fan, how are you going to sleep at nights? As a Daniel Ricciardo fan, how do you go out every day and drive on the road and know that this is this person that is inspiring you to drive? Because like, it doesn't make sense at this point in time. Do you see what this man did today? And he tried to run away. He tried to run away from what he did, but karma caught up to him on the spot. Look at him. Sharp. He was out of the car because he knows, yep, that's job done. Money well finessed today. The guy was out. He was back in the garage before Magnussen. Magnussen was still on the track. This guy was in the garage already. How did he get the leaf fly? My guy is ready to fly back to Abu Dhabi. Nothing concerning my racing. Nothing. At the end of Abu Dhabi, that's the end. He's going back home. But yeah, let's forget about this guy. The main person I want to talk about is Max Verstappen. I mean, we just saw a classic Max Verstappen performance today. He thought that we still had Michael Massey in charge and like things are going to be different and all of that. Because like that move he did on Lewis, yeah. Last year Brazil, he would do it. Massey would say, "Oh, there's nothing wrong here. Let's just continue racing. The race has won." All of that nonsense. But this new race director, they saw what he did. First things first, 5-second penalty. After that, 2 penalty points. Imagine if he got these 2 penalty points last year, he would have been disqualified for the next race. Because he had literally so many penalty points last year. So if these guys were there last year, this nigga would have been disqualified for the next race. And just like that, Sunday has won the championship. But that aside, what he did to Perez today is crazy and it's funny at the same time. Because like everybody's saying that, oh, Perez might have won in the championship, that Max has won it at the end of the day. But no, this guy won in the championship at Abu Dhabi last year when he held Lewis up to that point. And then when he now gave Max the toe again, like he handheld this guy to the finish line. He did all this for Max, and only for Max to now give him 2 points. So how many points today? It's a struggle. And the fact that he's saying that it's because of Monaco's qualifying, like, I literally have to go and watch Monaco's qualifying because like, I was just like, how will Perez crash on purpose here? I rewatched it and I'm like, how did it? The rears literally just got locked up. And then after that happened to Perez, the same thing happened to Sainz. I was also coming to that corner. His rears too got locked up, and both cars were just like sitting there. And Max is now blaming him for that and stuff like that. Didn't make sense to me. And he's just going up and down. They've talked about it. It's fine. I mean, they talked about it immediately after the race, and they're saying it's fine. Perez that is there, literally boiling. All about this. I'm just so like I feel pity for Christian Horner right now because now he has to deal with the drama that was seen that he didn't have yesterday, and now he has the drama in his team. And I don't know how he's going to deal with that. But the last person I'm going to talk about is Charles Leclerc because I don't know.
Yeah, that's 1 minute, please.
Yeah, this is the last part. So Charles Leclerc was begging for position to switch positions with Sainz for the race. He was begging. Ferrari did not give him anything. Kept on begging, kept on asking. And that's just the way of Ferrari. They're not really caring about who's going to win the championship, who's going to finish ahead of this person, all of that. And we saw, I think somebody shared a tweet that Sainz was asked at the end of the race, he would have given him the position. Sainz said yes, he would have given him the position. But, Ferrari guys never asked Sainz that question. They only responded to Charles and told him no right off the bat. And I'm starting to feel pity for this boy because, like, is it the team that's actually going to keep you in your mind, or is it going to get the treatment that Vettel got during Vettel's time at Ferrari? Yeah, that's it from me.
Thank you very much. Can we hear from Lois, please? Thank you.
Ooh, finally, good. I've been struggling with my network. Thank God. Anyway, can you guys hear me?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So first things first, I am happy we got a Mercedes 1-2. It could have been better for me as a Lewis Hamilton fan if he was the one that won the championship. But after seeing George in tears, like I had to just feel for the guy. I was like, okay, yeah. You can have this moment, and he did not put a foot wrong throughout the entire race. So yeah, I have to give him that. And credit to Lewis too. Like he sacrificed pretty much his entire season collecting data, experimenting with different setups, so many things to ensure that the car is where it is today. So I'm happy we got a Mercedes 1-2, and I hope the W14 is going to be a monster car. I just saw a comment right now by Max that he made mention. He said it cost Lewis the win. It only cost me 5 seconds. Look, there's one thing. You can be a good driver, an excellent driver, but if you don't have the character, it's always going to be a dent on your driving ability. That guy's sportsmanship is at the bottom of the barrel. You had nothing to lose today. The championship has been wrapped up. You are not chasing any record. Like, guy, you can just chill and just race today without causing trouble for anybody or being a dickhead to your teammates that has helped you win 2 championship titles in a row, but you cost Lewis his win today. And you're not even apologetic about it, because what was that post-race interview and that statement from him? And then doing what he did to Checo today. Come on, that's unfair. And personally, I am happy that what's going on at Red Bull is happening. They can burn, they can kill themselves. I don't even care. Let everybody start racing for their individual win. Checo is done being a wingman. If that's his decision, I'm glad and I'm happy with it. I'm excited. We got 1-2. It's going to be a good night race for me. Thank you. I'm done.
Thank you very much, Lois. Okay, can we have Junior, please?
Okay, good evening, guys. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yeah.
We can hear you.
Okay. So, fine.
Wait, Junior, I think you're a bit muffled.
Come again.
It's a bit muffled. I don't know.
Okay, can you hear me now?
Okay, yeah, just go ahead.
Okay, so finally my man has the race win this season, and that's George Russell. And Mercedes have been building up their car and coming up the field and getting closer to the pack, and finally has a win. And I guess Daniela said something about praying to God and for Mercedes win. For your information, God doesn't work in sports, and it's as simple as that. It's just physics that works on the car, on the track. You can't tell me that it's God that has given them the race. So where was God in the end part of the season when Lewis Hamilton did the past Gasly? I think that was Monza or Imola. I forget. So you can't tell me it's like there was no God at that time. Race and sports doesn't have anything to do with God. It's just how you prepare your team, how you prepare your finances and everything that corresponds to your win, to not be good at it. And back to what is happening right now, Max Verstappen is a clown, and I'm not surprised that he did that to Checo. It's just simple as that. Like Max had nothing to lose. He just had to let him pass. He had nothing to lose, but man said, "No, fuck it. I'm gonna not let him pass. I'm gonna do my own thing on the track," and he just did it. So the drama is at the enemy side, and when your enemies are making mistakes, you don't interrupt. It's as simple as that. Thank you. Can you hear me?
Yeah. Okay, I guess Junior is done. Okay. Okay, well, let's have another special guest, Honorable Yemi. All the way from Brackley.
It's my turn. Wow. Okay. I thought some more time. Well, cool. So, first of all, congrats. Congrats to the boys.
Yeah, wait, drink water first. Drink water first. Just drink water first.
I'm eating, don't worry. Congrats to the boys, first of all. Okay. And I've been saying this since the beginning of the year that this concept works, but I don't want to. I will leave the local engineer matter alone. It's okay. The cocoa is that we have won. That's key. 1-2, we have won. So, and like I said, since Spa, they understood the car. Spa was a turning point. Since Spa, the car has been quick. Everywhere they said it would be quick, and it was slow. Everywhere they said it would be slow. And then they brought upgrades in Austin, and here we are. I'm looking forward to the next race, and I think I'm very optimistic for next season, right? So congrats to George, first win. Happy for him. I think the guy did a fantastic drive this season. You wouldn't have seen this drive from Bottas last year. I think Lewis, not fair with Lewis, man. Nothing else to prove. What you saw today is what is to be expected. And I think if not for that, scuffle with Verstappen, we won't be here, but it's okay. It's okay. We take the 1-2. I couldn't care less anywhere it goes, whether it's Lewis in front, Russell. For me, the most important thing this season is that the concept is good. There's clear direction for next year. Next year we go again. Next year we'll have a fantastic season by God's grace. That's all. Now, also I think I would like to congratulate Ferrari. I think, given the circumstances and how the last how last sprint race or yesterday's sprint race panned out. There was a good recovery from them. 1, 2, 3, 4 for the team, or is it 3? Yeah, 3. Yeah, 3, 4. Fantastic result, if you ask me, for them. So I think Mercedes is closing in on them. I think we could see a Mercedes in P2 next year. I say P2 by the end of the season. We'll see how that goes. Anyways, Red Bull. First of all, right, I've been saying this thing since when I tell you guys that Max is a basic, like the guy is a fantastic driver. I mean, I take it, I give it to him, but the guy is not as good as you lot and the rest of the F1 media have made him out to be. I've been saying it. I'll continue to say it. I'm very consistent with it. You can see his life today. First of all, the first time that he has a car that is Mercedes, just the small competitiveness they have, the guy has lost direction. Can't drive well again. Wants to be driving into Lewis. I don't understand. What I'm happy about today is that everybody can now see the lunatic that he is. And we've been saying it for the longest time, that this guy is a fraud. He doesn't know what he's doing, But anyways, I'm happy that you people can see it now. And that's just the truth, right? Like, how the hell do you behave like that as a world champion? It's unbecoming. It's just, the guy, that number one, it doesn't honor that number, right? At the end of the day. But that's why I always tackle the guys that support me. How can you genuinely support an individual like this? The guy has talent, sure, but look at the values, look at the way he behaves. How can you support this kind of person? Of all the people on the grid to support, I just like some people just like to be contrarians. They want to just be, everybody's supporting Lewis, so I won't support Lewis. Let me support the other guy. I feel like that's how some people got into that camp and they are stuck there. But it's okay. The truth of the matter is, the guy is just unbelievable. Come on, man. See what he did to Checo. That's just, I'm not surprised. I don't know why Checo is surprised. Checo, when he was defending last year, he was doing Voltron. He did not know that this is he's showing who he is. Of course, everybody knows that this is how Max has been, but I feel like maybe Checo is, maybe he's delusional, maybe he's trying to play politics in the team. Because sometimes you don't want to come out and say it. You want everybody else to see it in a way that it cannot be, explained away, or they can't defend it. And you can see that, Honda, even Helmet is they're all struggling to defend that behavior. Because come on, you have nothing to lose. Give your guy a first round. The guy is coming on the radio talking like he owns the team. Showing Pepe doesn't even know anything yet. It's okay. And this kind of behavior that other manufacturers will be looking at, like, what? We have George. Mercedes, like, we have George in this team. We have Ferrari, we have Sainz and Leclerc in this team, right? Even McLaren itself. They look at Oscar and Norris. This is not the kind of guy that will be coming here to dictate to me, what we should be doing. In fact, the truth is that Max and his popsy, right? They won't drive any other team in F1 because other teams are run like proper institutions, right? Mercedes, they have a brand to protect, McLaren, the same thing, Ferrari, the same thing. So, the kind of leeway and flexibility that they have to be calling the shots at Red Bull, it won't happen for them in a team like Mercedes, Ferrari, or any other serious team, So, unfortunately, this relationship is going to decompose. You will see. I've said it today. You will see in the next coming years, this relationship it's going to be the disaster club. Max and Red Bull, just watch it, because there's no how Perez is going to defend him again, right? And we'll see how we win the title without, assistance from Perez, Masi, FIA, and he has the caucus, the rest of it. God will help him. We'll see how we win the title next year. Anyways, congrats to the team. I thought, imagine, these people are saying this is the best race of the season. After the title has been won, it tells you that, at the end of the day, Lewis just has to be part of the game. If Mercedes and Lewis are not part of the show, there's no drama. F1 is finished. Is it Max that you want to be someone that is, if you want to be supporting for the rest? I just really feel sorry for F1. But I think I like George. I think George, there's hope for the future if you have George, Leclerc. But that Max guy, man. Anyways, I'll yield the mic for now, right? I'll yield the mic for now. I just think, like I said, I've proved, Mercedes has finally proved all the haters or where people here on these spaces. I remember in Saudi talking about the engine, just chatting shit, like as if they are engineers and they are aerodynamicists, just saying all sorts. I'm like, guys, man, calm down. This car will come good. Remember when they bought cost cap era? What this actually tells me is that if we went in the cost cap era, these guys would have fixed this car by Spain. This, what we are seeing today, they would have done it by Spain. And who knows, they've had a good championship on the hands, but game is the game, man. At least they didn't cheat. Well, we did everything legal. we'll meet again next year. By the time they are doing audit, this is Red Bull that I heard that they're about to break. They're probably breaking the cost cap. So we'll meet again next year. But it's okay. That's another future gist. We'll talk. Admin, thanks.
I mean, we thank God. Congratulations once again.
Wait, by the way, just one more thing, please. Where is Abdul? I've been looking for Abdul since for the past 3 hours. I cannot find him. Where is he? All these Red Bull fans, where is he? At least which one came here he was Abdul. I've been looking for the guy since. You know what?
Where is Adekola? Where is Adekola?
Where is Ore? All
I've
those
been
guys,
looking for Adekola.
They are not here. They should come and defend themselves now. What's all this? At least we've been chopping else for the beginning of the season. Every time I come to this place, I talk, I defend my driver, I say my piece. Where are these guys? They are not cowards. All of them can see. I don't think it's just like the driver that they support. It's okay, Sha. No problem.
How about the cowards? Thank you very much, Yabi. Okay. Moving on. If you are if you are interested in the video of Max making that statement, and then it's up on top of this place for you to see. So yeah, we have Silva, Abasia, Kemet, Debo, then we'll have Bolu before we have Daniela, please. In that order. So Silva, please go ahead. Thank you.
Good evening, everybody. Like, I don't know how to express my emotions right now, but it was a phantasmagoric race, very, very fantastic race all season long. Red Bull fans have been saying that we Mercedes fans are high on hopium, that we just keep hoping and hoping and hoping. Well, we can't stop hoping, and today we won a race, and we didn't win it anyhow. We won it in style, 1-2. So congrats to my team. Like, hats off to my team for all the effort they've put in the car from beginning of the season. I just wish this development came earlier in the season. Then we would have had a championship on our hands, like a very, very tight battle on our hand. Congrats to Russell on his maiden Grand Prix win. Where else to win his maiden Grand Prix than in our second country, Brazil? It was just poetic justice, to be honest. Just poetic justice. Where else could we have won it if not in Brazil? So I really give it to Russell. He held his nerve from the beginning of the race to the restart, down to the end. Then hats off to our GOAT, the greatest of all time, Lewis Hamilton. You can't, you can't take it away from him. Yes, the qualifying was what it was. Back into the sprint and in the race, and in the first few seconds, our uncle wanted to drive him, like just end this race for him for no reason. I don't understand. Sometimes I respect Max. Yes, he's a good driver, but come on, to be honest, what is your problem? Yeah, what is your problem? When that crash happened, my spirit sank. I was like, God, let this not be a DNF for Lewis. Let this not be a tire puncture. And as God will have it, nothing was wrong with the car. He kept going, and karma happened to Oga. So then Lewis drove like what we know he is. From 8th, he crawled back up to 2nd position and all. And for some reason, I would say he let back a bit and allowed George take that victory. Because if we're looking at it, he had 3 laps fresher used soft compound tires than Russell. Nothing stopped him from being in DRS range of George. I'm not taking anything away from George, but something just tells me that Lewis just like, what, he's about to win his first race. Let's just let him have it. Because there are some people that will still say, maybe if Lewis has eventually passed Russell and won the race, some people come out and say, oh, even after your 7 championships and all your wins, you couldn't just let this guy just have his first win. So I'm actually glad that Lewis did not win today's race. If he wins in Abu Dhabi, good. If he doesn't win, good. All I'm really happy about is the direction in which the Mercedes W13 car has gone. And I believe with this, the W14 is going to be a beast next season. This is something that is huge. I think the team has decided to, take away the zero side pod for next season. I don't know if they've confirmed it or not, but if they take away that zero side pod with what we've seen in the sprint yesterday and the race today, I can imagine what that W14 will be for next season. Coming to Max and Perez, it's just a very sad story for Perez, to be honest, because I still don't
Please, 1
understand.
minute.
Yeah, no problem. I still don't understand why two teammates who have the same identical car and one is way ahead of the other. Is either something is being done different in Max's car, because Perez is a wonderful driver. Now he has come out to say, for the fact that Max won the championship last season is because I was there to help him. Now, just to give just one position to your teammate and you're there behaving like a little child, like a spoiled brat, actually, And he said he comes out to show what kind of person he is. It's not just about, you can drive, but what's your character at the end of the day? That is why people will always go to Lewis and Vettel. Vettel is someone that, he has a very, very gentle spirit. So does Lewis, have. But look at Max. You've won 2 championships that are debatable, and you're still being arrogant and still puffing up your shoulder unnecessarily. I just pray that Perez will just, give himself brain and know that, okay, I'm the only one fighting for myself in this team. So, but then again, it is what it is. I'm happy for my team. Yeah, this win was well deserved, to be honest. So to all my Mercedes fan on the space, man, top up for us, man. Yeah, I yield the mic.
Thank you very much, Silva. Once again, congratulations, because I know you're one of them. You have been hoping, and congratulations on your win. Abasia Kemed, you want to go ahead, please? Thank you for waiting.
Yeah. Good evening to everybody. Before I won't go into what I was saying, it was hilarious when Quicksilver mentioned Vettel, because I think people have forgotten Vettel's arrogant era and what it was like. Because everybody sees Vettel now and this cute father who is, speaking out for a lot of social issues. So he rightfully should. But Vettel was not always this smiling guy. He was always smiling, but he had that arrogant bit which always got him into trouble.
I agree, but he's not as arrogant as Max, to be honest.
No, it's not as arrogant as Max, definitely. But the thing is, when Vettel had that period, nobody liked him. Nobody was shining teeth with him. It's when he started losing, and then he started talking about good things. That's when everyone says, "Oh, Vettel is so cute." But that's by the way, Sha. When you are losing, that's when everyone is starting to find you as a very cute guy. But anyway, back to the race. I think across the weekend, very good action across the weekend. We've had too many qualifying sessions where we come on this space and we're looking forward to the race, and it just turns out to be very disappointing. But this weekend qualifying session, sprint race, main race was just wonderful. It's up there with the top 3 weekends we've had this season. And props to George. From the sprint yesterday, you could see he was on it and he was brilliant today. I don't agree to the possible sentiment that Lewis was holding back. Yeah, maybe you could have pushed more, but it doesn't guarantee anything. George was on it since the sprint yesterday. And it's good for Mercedes, to, that consistent, it wasn't really consistent, but, that sign of progress across the season, and finally they get this today. It's a good thing. And personally, I'm always down for a very interesting title fight. Last season almost sent me to the hospital, but still I don't mind. You get, it's nice to be for things to be competitive. Next season, we have Verstappen, Leclerc, Hamilton, and so I mean that would be nice. So yeah, hopefully it's good sign for next season, and of course for the obvious issue with Max and Perez. I mean, I don't condone it, but I don't mind it, and I'm probably the only person that doesn't feel sorry for Perez because I mean I love the guy. He's my third favorite driver. But then it's just, I don't know, it's annoying sometimes. You're 2 seconds behind asking to swap, you're 4 seconds behind asking to swap. People are talking about how, oh, today is going to change things, he's going to realize he's no longer going to be a wingman. He's not a wingman because the team says he should be. He's a wingman because that's where his qualities put him. He's
1
not
minute,
just,
please.
yeah, he's not just, he can't compete. That's the reality. Of course, I think it's fair criticism to say people are disappointed in Max. Personally, I'm not. As I said, I don't condone his actions, but I don't mind it because I've said on this page before the need for different characters in this sport. There's going to be the Lewis, there's going to be the Vettel, there's going to be the Ricardo, the teddy bear of the paddock. There's going to be guys like Verstappen and Stroll who everybody hates. I mean, I don't mind guys like that. I think it makes things more interesting. If Max is lucky enough and I don't expect the U-turn to get Red Bull hard next year. I mean, following year, if Max keeps winning and the hate keeps increasing, it will be very interesting to watch for me as a fan of him. But yeah, I mean, it's a good penultimate race for the season. I hope in Abu Dhabi things return back to normal, Max win, and for Checo to secure his P2 by his own power. I might get his valid. He has helped Max in the past. That's valid. But he's kept himself in those positions. He has not been fighting. And then they tell him to stop fighting. He's always been a wingman. That's what he's always going to be. Unless sort of you find some extra thing next season. There's this thing, in football, we see when footballers cheat. I don't know, they always get this form and start scoring goals. So maybe now that he has had this scandal, maybe next season be on fire. We'll see.
Thank you very much, Abasia Keme. Okay, do we have a?
Sorry, my apologies. Before anybody goes, talking about Vettel, because honestly, I can't stand Okay.
Salim,
Abasia Keme. No,
Salim,
just
Salim,
15
please.
seconds. It won't take much. In life, you have to grow, right? You can't be the same person that you were 10 years ago. That's bad. You have to grow. That's what we're talking about. And Vettel, yeah, back then he used to wag his finger at everyone and people didn't like him. But he grew, right? He's not the same person he was. So why can't Max grow also? What he did was
that's very valid. Vettel was doing those things at the age Max is doing them now. So who says we don't know? Maybe Max will grow in 6 years. Maybe in 6 years we'll be the one moving around the paddock speaking for change and all that. For now, I'm enjoying it, but maybe it does change. It's nice to see.
Also,
Not everybody will be love and light.
At no point
Everybody
did
cannot be love and
Vettel
light. There's need
endanger
for
any other
small
driver's
players.
life. Just so we're clear, at no point did Vettel endanger any other driver's life. Attitude out of it.
Vettel endangered Hamilton's life. Yeah, I'm surprised you don't remember that. Vettel endangered Hamilton's life. When
Thank God everybody's
people
fine.
forget
Thank God
things.
everybody's fine. Please,
when he deliberately moved into Hamilton, he accused Hamilton of testing him and he deliberately drove into him. Have we all forgotten that?
But they were not at high speed. Towards the end, we saw that he was stupid. Yes, that was not 300
It was still a very dangerous and insensitive thing to do.
Please.
Maybe Max will grow 6 years from now. Yeah, I'm enjoying it.
It was literally under the safety car. The brake testing thing in Baku 2017 was literally under the safety car. You can't compare that to Max landing his car on Lewis's head in Monza 2021.
Did he take off the car and intentionally land it? Let's not go back, but we all know it was
Debo,
the sausage curve. Sorry,
let's hear from Debo, please.
Hello. Yeah, thank you.
Thank you, Debo.
Yes. Thank you for having this space. I come once in a while to talk. I'll just run down. A lot of people have said a lot of things. I'll just start from George Russell. I've always been impressed with George Russell. He was at Williams. He gives 110%. When he was at Williams, I really followed him because I knew he was a Mercedes driver, and he week in week out, even though he used to come last, he will do anything to to prop up the team. There's one point, and he was willing to sacrifice his race, just to get like 2 points for the team. He's always been that kind of person, and I definitely think he's a future world champion. The way he drives is very fast, and I don't think anybody has said this, but he's way better than Bottas. Bottas really wasn't a fast driver compared to Lewis. He has consistently been on top of the car and consistently been beside Lewis in all the races this season. So definitely a world champion in the making. Very, very happy for his for his first race win. Touching on coming back to touch on Verstappen and Red Bull and Checo. I think we are definitely seeing the beginning of this driver duo crumbling because of Max's attitude. Very, very disappointing to see him do that. I am still wondering what the reason is. Whatever the reason is, can never justify what he's done because he's not fighting for anything. He's wrapped up his championship. Red Bull has wrapped up the constructors championship. Why wouldn't he just do the same? We've seen other drivers do it in the past. We've seen Lewis do it. We've seen Senna do it. We've seen Schumacher do it. Why? And people came onto the space saying something about Monaco. I think that's just a speculation. It's not a fact that when Checo crashed in Monaco, he did it to stop him. I think it's just all speculation. But regardless, the actions that Max has taken just clearly, I think it's short-sighted because you really do need your teammate in certain circumstances. There's going to be next year. I wouldn't be surprised if this Red Bull duo crumbles within the next 2 years. Horner definitely has a lot of things to think about and a lot of actions to take because I do not see Checo really responding to team orders or anything again, especially if he doesn't come second, and if he comes second with a margin that maybe one point or 2 points, or if he comes third rather with a margin at 1 point or 2 points where these points would have mattered, it's going to really. It's going to, he's not going to sit down very well with him. So, definitely, I'm definitely not seeing harmony in the Red Bull camp. Coming into next year is going to be, I think it's going to be very interesting, because clearly the teams are getting a hold of this new design of cars. I don't think Max. Well, it will be interesting to see how Max and Red Bull deliver for next year. It's very clear that once you put Max under pressure or he's fighting with another car that is competitive, he's not able to drive wheel to wheel. And it's not just for it's not just for Lewis. He's been doing it before Lewis even came. There was one time when Ricardo was a teammate of his. Ricardo, and he just kept on crashing to the point that
Debo, please 1 minute.
Everybody called him crash tapping. So it's very, very, it's his attitude and his driving style is very clear that he's not able to race side to side professionally with other people. And with Leclerc as another person I'm looking forward to. I hope he sorts out his team and he himself sorts him out, because he's another person that we throw into the mix. Him, Russell, Lewis, all against Max. It's going to be very interesting next year. Yield the mic. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Debo. Okay, can we hear from Bolu, please?
Hi everyone, good evening. Basically I just want to give Mercedes props. We've seen how long it takes teams to come back after like a big regulation change like this. I mean, like this season when I saw them with no side pods, I mean, I think Yemi was the only one who still had hope that, they are on track, something is still going to happen. But I lost all hope, and fellow Mercedes fans were not helping. But it's really good that we have the 1-2. Although I'd have preferred Lewis winning it. But yeah, I'm really happy about George. Last season, Bottas wouldn't have been able to do this, but I'm really, really happy about that. About Max. Max is Max. Max is a lunatic. I'm not even surprised. Checo will forever be a wingman. So I feel like drivers that come into Red Bull should know this. And I don't really know why Checo is surprised, to be honest. There's nothing to be surprised there. There is no way, there is no how in whatever universe that Max was going to exchange. But yeah, the monsters we create. Anyways, that's all from me.
Bolu there with the punchline. Anyways, let's hear from our sister Daniela from the Redeem branch.
Thank you. Now that I've celebrated my Mercedes win, this is purely for the Red Bull fans. That kind of reckless driving that Max is doing, it's not safe. You remember when he tried to leave his whole car tire on top of Lewis's head? Thank God for the halo. That one is also in it. I agree with what everybody has been saying, that Max Verstappen is not playing the long game because next season is coming. The W14 is coming. We are already at W13.5. So by the time the 14 even gets here, you already know. And you are just jeopardizing your team. And inside that Red Bull team, what a lack of accountability. Nobody can even defend Checo. Just come and say, you know what? I agree what Max did wasn't good. We'll talk to them. What do you mean you talk to them in private? Where is the reprimand? How are you going to hold Max accountable? Him and his father are just running your team. Because you are an energy drink company. The energy drink boy and the energy drink company. That's why people can be doing this thing. You don't have a brand. Mercedes, we cannot do this. We have class. Spelled CLASS. That's what we have in our team. So I don't blame you people. I don't blame you. I just feel bad for Checo. Checo today, Mercedes fans, it feels like Checo is even our honorary Mercedes member. Even the Mercedes admin on the admin page was saying Checo is a good defender. Let's see what happens. It's such a disaster at this point in time for Red Bull. And yeah, truly a monster of their own making. They said Red Bull gives you wings. We'll see. Maybe it does not really give you wings to fly anywhere. Maybe they are flown too close to the sun and they are coming back down. And I also want to just make an interesting comparison of Max to Alonso. Max is not going to grow. This growth that people are saying is going to grow, it's not going to grow. It's just an Alonso in the making. Look at how they are pally. Birds of the same feather. They actually they give you wings to fly together. That's all that is going to happen. And even Lando, I suspect, may join them. We never know. On that cry, I want to say this, and this has not been said enough. Max ruined Lewis's race today. Because actually, had Lewis not had to go back into the pits and had a crash, he could have potentially won this race. And that's very, very unfair. Max does this thing. This is the same thing that happened again with the incident. The way he rises, he's not going to win. It's my way or the highway. One of us crashes, one of us doesn't. It's a double standard. It's very unfair. And I don't think that Red Bull needs to have a serious conversation with them. I also think I want to give a round of applause to Anthony Hamilton, because obviously upbringing is very much showing. Obviously some people are raised with values of respect and engagement. We thank God for Lewis and also George. George also did very well. George even said, "Thank you, Lewis. I'm learning so much from you. Thank you for the collaboration, both of them. And actually, when George asked today, oh, are we racing or what is the plan? I don't think he was trying to ask, oh, let me stay in my position. He wasn't doing a Leclerc. I think he was just trying to clarify so he doesn't mess up the 1-2 for the team. He was just trying to clarify, oh, what's going on? Because this is the same George when he was in Williams. He said, if you have to sacrifice my race for Latifi, who today finished P16, well done.
Well
Said,
done.
you can
Daniela,
do
1
it.
minute, please.
You can do it. So obviously, I think he was just trying to look for clarification. But Red Bull, honestly, it's not fair. It's not fair. And some of the fans on this Twitter space have just been going under saying that, oh, it's because Max needs to extend his points so that he has the most points by a driver won in any season. Have shame. Allow shame to just follow you. Have small shame. It's not fair. And really, there's not much to say than I don't know what to say. Lewis is the driver of the day. Let me Max aside. Lewis, a GOAT, an 8-time world champion. Yes, I said 8. Do not mishear me. If you like, come and meet me here. An 8-time world champion, ever the class act, ever supporting his team. Big up Lewis, not just the driver of the day, but driver of all the days. Because what? A GOAT. Absolute, and just well done to Lewis Hamilton, how he has led the team, welcomed in a new member without scandal. Just, well done to Lewis. Continue to mentor George and support him. Ever the class act, ever a great guy. I'm sure it's even Lewis is going to send a message to Checo this evening and check up on him. Anyway, big up Lewis Hamilton. Let's also give him props. Big up George Russell. Let's move towards Abu Dhabi. Please, my own prayer is what is my own concern. Please, whether or not God is involved, it's me that wants to pray. So I'm not forcing anybody to join me. I just said the time for the prayer meeting and there you can come if you don't want to come. There is no hassle. There is no
I'm with you, Daniel.
there is no hassle. There's no wahala. I'm not forcing anyone to bring their own spirituality into it. I'm just saying that prayer is the key. That's my own belief. If you don't believe too, how else will we
Thank
get
you.
miracles? Thank you.
Okay. Just there's been a breaking news. So Daniel Ricciardo has been what they give him again? He has been awarded a 3-place grid penalty for his final race in possibly F1 in Abu Dhabi, the United Arab Emirates in the Middle East. Yeah, thank you. That's what I just wanted to say. But yeah, Ms. Katra, lovely, you are next. So go ahead.
I'm not talking about Daniel Ricciardo. You cannot get me to slander him. I don't care what you say. I don't
No,
care.
I didn't say you should slander him. I said comment. Just comment.
What can I say? He's got a 3 grid. I just sent it to you in the DM.
Yeah, I saw it as well. So just thoughts.
I just came to say that Ted Kravitz had the nerve, the unmitigated gall, the bloody bull-faced cheek to get on my TV, on Beyonce's internet, and say that it doesn't matter what Max did today because nobody will remember who came second. This is what the problem is in F1. This is it. So even though he's done the wrong thing, instead of saying he's done the wrong thing, you come on my TV screen and flap your fat gums and say it doesn't matter? How does it not matter? So when Checo decides to start supporting you, I hope you have the same attitude. It doesn't matter. Be on your own. Be an island. Let's see how it works for you.
Yeah, please let me just quickly talk. Miss Catrock, I think you guys were actually supporting the Kravitz before Mexico, at Mexico. You Mercedes fans actually liked him.
I was supporting him.
But what's happened now?
I think when people are wrong, I will say they are wrong, and that's wrong.
Exactly.
Ridwan, that's the beauty of Mercedes fans. We are honest.
No.
Hang on.
Yeah, the thing is that
Listen, I'm not a Red Bull fan.
They
I
are
don't
wrong.
care what happens to Red Bull.
Fine.
I don't care.
Since to be honest, fine, they are wrong. They are wrong, but it's actually funny that you guys actually saw him like someone that is clean because he came out and Red Bull boycotted Sky Sports. You guys knew the Kravitz. He would just say anything that he likes.
But he wasn't wrong the first thing he said. He's wrong in this one.
No, actually, for me personally, it's not because of what he said about Abu Dhabi last year. That's not exactly what happened between him and Max. it's about what happened at the beginning of the season. That's exactly what happened. But but you guys
But I bet
now
come,
you guys are
read on,
giving
hold on, read on, hold on,
you guys are
hold
giving
on,
Checo. Come please,
read
let me
on.
just complete this.
Okay,
Let's
finish.
please. Like you guys are actually giving Checo props. Like I can still remember at Turkey last year, you guys were on him. At Abu Dhabi last year, you guys were actually talking bad about him. Now now he's your
Yeah,
main
we're
guy
not.
from Red Bull. And
No,
like I
no,
don't
no,
know,
no,
like you
no.
guys are
None
like
of
what
them
Daniela
are my
said.
main guys. They're
Like
not
let me
my
just
main
like
guys.
what Daniela said. He said yes.
Double
George
standards,
also
man.
kept his calm.
He's
George,
not my main
George
guy.
like
I'm just
George.
saying that Max
Let
had
me just finish.
nothing.
Like George also had his own calm today. Like I remember in Zanvute what you guys were talking, what you guys are saying about George when he went for the softs. We can't. We are not forgetting all these things now. Like what it's
Yeah,
normal.
but what did I
It's normal.
say today? What did I say today when I came in about George? I said about him asking potentially for team orders. I weren't happy about that. I said that. So what do you mean?
What do you mean?
Because God gave us 2 ears so we can listen and 1 mouth. So engage your ears. That's not what I said. I don't care about
Actually,
Red
I'm
Bull,
not
but
actually.
I like
Please,
fairness.
please.
I like fairness. And I think what happened today was unfair. That's all I'm saying. But quite frankly, I'm happy you're imploding. Good.
Imploding as in like we've won both championship, man. Like
Yeah,
imploding
but
for what?
next year when Checo is not helping,
It's not like that,
how is
please.
it gonna work when there's no teamwork?
Let me tell you something. Let me tell you
Please,
something.
hold on. Everybody should relax. Calm down. Just take a breather, please. Yeah. Lovely. Now, Ridwan, let me ask you Red Bull fans one question. Why is it that you people don't like to let go of things? Let go. Wait, let me finish, please. Because I allow you finish. Let me finish, please. I believe some of us were religious. Some of you Red Bull fans, some of you are religious here, At least, whatever religion you are preaching, is forgive. Forgive. Driver, no, they forgive. Team principal, no, they forgive. Driver director, no, they forgive. Fans, international fans, no, they forgive. Niger fans, no, they forgive. What? Why? What is in this Red Bull DNA that people don't just use to forgive people? Like, it's obvious that Checo self does not even have the DNA that the Red Bull, because why would you just look at? Anyway, Ridwan, thank you.
So, like, why you
you're
have
not done?
ignored to forgive? Yeah, like you said that
What
why
you say why
we
you do is to forgive. Oh, okay.
actually, to be honest, it's not like it's just what I'm just hearing tonight that about everything that you everything. To be honest, fine, Max. The thing is that Max is 25. He will surely grow, and if he doesn't grow, he will learn the hard way. That's just it. That's the thing about sports. So he will grow. That's it. And let me tell you something. People are actually saying that yes, Christian, there's no reprimand. Like that's just how a team's principal will actually do. He will actually say they will actually clear it internally. You can't at all come out and start talking about your driver. It's not a Jose Mourinho at all. He won't come out talking about his driver at all. That's just what will happen. So, and they will clear it internally. You will see in Abu Dhabi, everything will be clear. Next season, everything will be clear. Their relationship will be back. That's just it. So, Christian handled Vettel and Mark Webber. Please, what is his name? Max and Checo is a small thing for him. He will actually handle them. So that's just it. And but to be honest, what I just want to say is that don't let us forget about the second place fights also. Leclerc and Checo are on the same points going into Abu Dhabi.
Ridwan, see what you are saying. See what you are saying. Who caused the problem? Who caused the problem? Who caused the problem for second place? Who caused the problem?
Let me tell you something. Even let me tell you. So let's analyze this. Let's analyze this. Normally, it's Red Bull that. Let me just analyze it for you. it is Red Bull that caused the problem. We were not quick enough today. Even Leclerc overtook Perez.
Ridwan,
We
that
were
is
not just
not it. That is
no.
not.
Let me
Oh God.
no. Just hear me. Even if Max has given up the place, fine. It will be 1 point ahead, 2 points ahead. 2 points ahead, 1 point ahead
Okay.
is not what will actually cement Checo's place. I knew Max did something that is wrong. Fine,
Ridwan,
like
people have
let
won championships in this sport by 1 point. So this it will not cement it. No, this no.
like it's so
No. I'm sorry.
let them know.
This one is not
Like
going to
for
fly
it,
with me.
so no, the thing is that within the championship points, at the championship point, like in points 25, 18, 15, normally Red Bulls, the top 3 teams will actually finish in the top 6. That's just it. And in between those points, there's no 1 point there. So I don't fine, Max did something that is wrong tonight. Like he did something that is wrong. I knew he did something that is wrong, but I just want, even if we are not talking about this, both of them are on the same point of 18. I just knew Max actually fucked up tonight. Sorry for my language. He did rubbish tonight. But what people are actually just I think they are actually just putting fuel on this Checo won in his 2 world championship. Nah, man.
Ridwan,
Let me I don't agree. I don't agree about that.
Ridwan,
I don't agree
please
about that.
stop
So,
this. Ridwan,
the thing is that no, let me
Ridwan,
just finish, please. Let me
Ridwan,
finish, please.
Ridwan,
Let me finish, please.
Ridwan.
Can I finish, please? Can I finish,
For
please?
the
You know,
love
when the
of
admin
God,
was
let
talking,
him finish.
I
I
actually
want him
shut
to
up.
finish. Finish.
I actually finished. So the thing is that you guys can say, yeah, fine, he helped Max. He has been helpful to Max. Fine. Max has also been helpful to him. That's just it. In Monaco, we saw what Max did to keep Carlos on his toes, that Carlos was even making mistakes. You actually saw it. Even when Checo's tire was gone, you actually saw what happened, and Checo won. So that's just it. And these 2 champions that you guys are talking about, fine, yes, he helped Max. Even Max getting closer at Abu Dhabi last year, Lewis still dunk on Max's head and pull that gap. So fine, he helps him. That's good. The strategy worked. But this year's own, you guys are actually talking about 2 championships. If we want to cook, as we are saying, let's cook with data and facts. But this year's championship, Max would have won it in United States. So I don't see where he helped
Ridwan,
him.
I'm
United
sorry,
States.
Ridwan.
So
I'm sorry, Ridwan. This is not it, Ridwan. This is not
The
it, Ridwan. This
delusion
is
is
just
real.
pure deflection, Ridwan. This is just pure deflection. We are not.
Pure deflection from what?
We are not.
Pure deflection
Is
from what?
they,
From what?
they've
Can I
written his
speak
name
on the
on the
matter?
title. We are not. We don't care about championship this evening. Nobody is talking about championship this evening. Nobody is talking about constructors this evening, Ridwan. Clearly, he has a bit of a problem. He has carried the grudge before the summer break.
Bad
Monaco
attitude.
was definitely before the summer break. Summer break came, you did not clear your head, you did not forgive and forget. What? Man.
Let me tell you something.
Man.
To be honest, fine.
No.
Let me
Ridwan,
just
let
finish.
it go. I
You
beg. Let
no,
it
no,
go.
no, no, no. You to be honest, you guys are fine. Fine, you guys can make check marks. Yes, for me personally, I knew he did a wrong thing tonight. I'm not defending what he did tonight, but the thing is that Max will surely grow. He's still 25 years old. He will grow with 2 championships and with Christian.
Let me ask you one question. Do you believe
8
age
years
is just a
8
number?
years.
I don't know. I don't know.
You don't know.
I
Okay,
actually
age.
can't say.
Okay. I believe your age is a numerical figure. Yes or no?
I don't know. I actually can't respond. To be honest, I don't know. So you can maybe I don't know. So that's just it.
Okay.
But you can. But actually, Max will grow. So that's just it.
Ridwan.
You can see
Let me tell you
there are
something,
some.
Ridwan. Yeah. You believe Max will grow.
Of course.
I also believe Max will grow,
No,
but
you don't believe. You don't believe Max will grow. No,
God,
in deep down in you, you don't believe Max will grow at
let
all.
me see
Because
what
when someone said Max will never grow, you never said anything. But
Read
you are
on,
not telling me Max
read
will
on,
grow now.
read on.
No, you don't believe that.
Eventually, he's going to grow because at the time he's going to retire and he cannot continue to. Where is he going to be doing all the bullshit again? By then he has outgrown all these things now. That's what I mean by grow.
So are you
Eventually, he's going
telling
to
me
grow.
Max will?
So
But when
no,
when will
wait,
Max
read
retire?
on, hold on. Let me finish. In the case of Verstappen, yeah, you don't want his growth to be, will I say, too late, and then you have all this let me just say all these cars, you know, and all and you like now what has happened today, Brazil 2022 is always going to go down in Red Bull history. You know, it's always going to be spoken. You understand, as what he has done. If people are going to talk about Abu Dhabi 2021, this is more like a subtopic. Do you understand?
More 21 happened and no one's talking about it right now. So 21 happened.
Are you not talking about it
and
now?
we still like
You are
it will
referring
show
to
them
Creed
something
one.
in the next 3 and 4 years. No one will still talk about Brazil 2022. So
Okay.
that's just it. Let's see.
Okay. No problem.
That's just it.
No problem. Okay, Rudo. Okay, let's Rudo, thank you very much for at least you took us out of the line a bit, but now we're going back to it. Okay. Let's have Imadi. But please go ahead, because I know you've been here. Then we'll have right next. Thank you.
Yeah, all right. I genuinely feel, up to an extent, I feel at some point, based on how Formula One has evolved and all that's kind of a thing at this moment, a whole lot of Formula One fans have goldfish memory. They all live in the moment. So up to an extent, I can understand what Ridwan is saying. But just as you asked him, he's still speaking about Multi 21 right now. But what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to respond to Debo's point of how is the team going to evolve based on what happened. Like we all remember, or those that were watching then remember when Vettel's response was, Vettel apologized, quote and unquote, and then the next race he said, I was racing, I was faster, I passed him, I won. So that was Vettel's. Those were his exact words after what he did, after he disobeyed team orders. So I think at some point, up to an extent, yes, I dislike Max. I condemn everything. When I spoke earlier, I condemn everything he did today, and it made no sense whatsoever, because even if he scored no points today, it was not going to change anything regardless. Not going to change his standards, not going to change whatsoever. It's not going to change anything. So whatsoever he did today made no sense. But I think we're also overestimating how valuable this guy is. As much as Mercedes hates him tomorrow, if Lewis retires and Max is on the books, they would sign him without just like that. Immediately, they're going to sign him. So most times fans look at these things from the model citizen, model human beings side of things. We don't look at it from the business side of things. Dr. Wolf is thinking of, okay, fine, I own 33% stake in Mercedes AMG Petronas Black Team. How am I going to make so much money to be able to get 66% stake? He's not thinking about what Max has done to Lewis. If Lewis retires tomorrow, Lewis can only what's the word? It's failing me right now. Probably lobby for them not to sign Max. But if it's a good business decision, he will be signed. So the point I'm trying to make is, up to an extent, some of all these things will be forgotten. The team dynamics will not generally sour like that. It might sour between Max and Checo, but it might not generally sour like that, because Max is still a top dog. He's still the best. Aside Lewis, he's still the best of the rest. So who is going to match him? If you give him a car, you know he's going to deliver. So honestly, I look at it from the business side of things. all this, or how's the team dynamics going to be? He needs to be dealt with. Not dealt with. He needs to be reprimanded in the team. And obviously, I think someone was saying, "Oh, they didn't say it out." Like, even if when I was much younger, even if I offend my dad and that kind of a thing, I know when I get back home, my dad is going to deal with me at home. He's not going to say anything outside in front of everybody. So you expecting Christian Horner to come on Sky Sports and saying, "Oh, I'm reprimanding Max," and that's bullshit. Now things don't work that way. So generally, I feel from the business side of things, and I feel it's going to work out. And Checo is not pulling his weight. Let's be sincere. If Checo was pulling his weight and he was closer to Max, then we can say Max is Checo is not pulling his weight, and that's why all the resources and the favoritism is going towards Max. And obviously Max is a generational talent, so you can't expect Checo, who has been in F1 for how many years, to be able to compete against that. And to cap it all up, I agree everything he did today was bullshit and he should be reprimanded in some way. But Checo is not pulling his weight, let's be sincere. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Imadi. In a way, Max is lucky if he did not try this team in what do you call that place? Where were we last week? Is it not Mexico? But yeah. Roy, do you want to go ahead? Thank you for waiting.
Yeah, thank you for letting me speak. I've been waiting for a long time. No, anyway, today was very a nice race. I think that as we are talking about yesterday, definitely Mercedes having the two cars in first and second, and basically as a team, as a pre-team order, decided to sacrifice their second one in place, that is Hamilton, and point all on George, but unfortunately Lewis even couldn't have a chance or a shot on the victory because he was taken out by Max. But I think that the only way that Lewis could have won if he had stayed in second was with an undercut or an overcut, because George also was very fast and really had the pace. They were both on similar pace, so it would have been difficult for Lewis to pass George on the track. Even in the last 10 laps, we saw that George was maintaining the gap over 1 second over Lewis. Also, George had more downforce on his car compared to Lewis. That's why in the middle sector, he really gained much on Lewis, and Lewis recovered basically back on the straight. But anyway, apart from that, congratulations to the Mercedes team for working so hard throughout the year. And also a big congratulations to Russell for winning the sprint race yesterday and confirming also today that he can take over when Lewis is not there. And one thing I would like to speak about is the situation with the Red Bull team. From what I have read and what I have understood, it seems that Max was a little bit pissed with what Checo did in Monaco when he deliberately crashed. And if this is supposed to be true, then I think Checo has to receive a race ban, because in the past when people deliberately crash, they got penalties. So if this is true, then Checo needs to be banned. But on the other side, I think that Max Verstappen has, let's say, a sort of less respect for his team members, because the team definitely told him to give the place to Checo, which he refused after all what Checo did for him last year. Because if Checo was not in the team last year, Max was never going to win the World Championship, and Lewis would have won the World Championship in Jeddah. So I think what's happening today with Max and Checo is something that has always been in the Red Bull team since from the beginning. If we can remember with Vettel and Weber, the team always try to prioritize one driver. That is the best one in the team and don't give a chance to the second driver. And whilst with Mercedes, Mercedes is more about a team, because all their philosophy is that the team needs to win. The win doesn't it doesn't matter if Lewis or George wins. It's what happened when Bottas had the chance to fight with Lewis in 2019 and 2020. They always gave both of them equal chance to race and equal chance to win. And whilst here in Red Bull, we see that they really don't have the same chance, both Perez And Max, even though Max is, as let's say, is more talented than Checo, they really don't give Checo a chance because they are always focusing on Max, which I think is maybe somehow bad because it destabilizes the team because you don't give the other driver a chance to win, like what happened in Barcelona this year when Max got a failure with the DRS. Instead of letting Checo fight for the win, they told Checo to let Max by, and Max won the race, which Checo would have definitely won if they had let them race. But anyway, I think next year is going to be interesting, and what has happened today within the Red Bull team is going to, let's say, turn back upon them because if next year Mercedes gets their car correct, then it's going to be again Lewis versus Max and Charles, or other one around. Maybe George can have his say upon it. So I think that Red Bull needs to sort what happened today out because it's going to be bad for them next year if Checo is not going to support Max in some races. It will be very difficult for them. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Roy. Roy, sorry for keeping you waiting. You know, there's a large queue.
No problem.
Thank you. Okay, yeah. So let me just repeat the queue. So we have Abex, Smart, Salim, Enobong, Regis, and then I'll say the rest names later on, please. Yeah. Abex, you want to go ahead?
Yes, please. Thank you. And in the beginning, I was going to come back here and say to Ridwan because I was planning to cook him today. But when he started by, congratulating Mercedes and all of that, and I just assumed that today was going to be different, then I instantly realized why we have problems with Red Bull fans because it's like half the fans they draw this false equivalence, and one of the biggest problem is when a drivers, we can just accept that average Formula One driver knows the sport more than we do. So when someone like Checo is saying to you, after all I've done for him, because of him, he won 2 world championship, and they had a boss to say, well, he's not really pulling his weight. It's not that kind of. It's not doing enough. I want you to look at every race when Max Verstappen is first and Leclerc is second and Checo is third. And you have to make a decision about the driver that comes in for the first tire change. And that can determine who wins that race. And one after the other, they always bring in Max. And Checo came to the
Sorry,
understanding.
I would like to correct you on the first person which comes in. Always the driver which is in front gets the chance to pit first. So that's why it has always been
It's
like that.
not always that way though. That's what I'm, and you let me learn, and that's what I was saying. That's the assumption, right? But we've had situation where Checo was in front, and then they switched it, where they said this time we're going to let Max go. That happened. That's my point exactly. That rules only seems to hold when Max is in front. Then there were instances where we had Checo in front, and then they brought Max in first, knowing that it would sacrifice Checo's win. And they did that, over and over again. And I have no problem with that because the idea is in the beginning you can let your driver race. You get to a point where you are at 250 points and I'm at 190, right? And I'm not going to win the championship. And at that point, it's all about bringing the car home, doing everything you can to make sure the guy in front maximizes the point and win the drivers' championship. I don't have a problem with that. That's how it's supposed to be. But when you look at what happened today, Red Bull threw away 4 points yesterday and today that they could have given to their guy. And someone said, well, there's still Abu Dhabi. But I want every Formula One fan here to remember we've been watching this race for a while now. There's no guarantee that both drivers will finish tomorrow. The next race. Leclerc could have a contact with someone, and Checo had a puncture in the 64th lap, and then today would matter, right? Because these things happens, and we cannot act like we've seen it over and over again. And I think the last thing I want to touch on, someone also mentioned that Lewis Hamilton was never close enough today. It wasn't fast enough. It would have needed overcut or undercut to pass George. There is 1,000 ways you can pass a driver on the track, and one of the most effective way is very difficult for you when you're defending to hit your apex correctly. And if I'm behind you and I have a better exit with a slipstream, I can actually pass you with DRS. And if there's one thing Lewis is very good at, is just putting that car right behind you, following you through that left-handed, right-handed, and waiting for the right time. I'm not saying it wouldn't have happened. You never know. But to just say Lewis would not have been able to pass um, George without undercut or overcut, that's really not accurate. And putting pressure on someone for 15 laps is completely different for you having to deal with that for 40 laps. Those are also the things we also need to admit. And also for Ridwan, I'm just going to say I'm not saying Verstappen needs to be a perfect guy, but when things happen in the sport, after the effect, you should come around. Oh, I'm sorry, that's my mistake. Don't go around say I have no regret. When your driver comes out and say, yeah, I have nothing to lose. I cost him the win. You should be able to take a step back and say, well, this is not right, and I really, really hope this never happens again. And I think also to what F1 Niger said, are very, very able hosts. You made mention about business decision and why Mercedes would probably bring in Max if he's available, whatnot. It is possible, but I also want to give you a second opinion to that. If Max was brought to Mercedes tomorrow, I will not buy a Mercedes merchandise. And I can tell you I have at least maybe 50% of the fans that will not buy it. And that's a revenue that they would lose. So if they are about making money, if they bring Max to the team, you can bet your house that it would cost them at least 50% decline in merchandise. And then when the fans are not really happy about it, how can you convince Petronas to give you 10 million pounds, every racing week when your fans are not even there to watch you? Because these things goes hand in hand. If there's excitement, you can go to your marketing team and talk to your advertisers like, look, we have 30 million fans in Brazil, we have 45 in Europe. This is what we think you should pay us. But when you don't have those fans, you don't have that bargaining power. So it would be very, very interesting if they would actually make a business decision and bring Max in, because then that would be against business decisions, really would just be against winning. Then they don't want to make money. Thank you. I yield back.
Thank you very much.
But
I
the
mean, please,
entire
30
the whole of
seconds, please.
the whole of Netherlands as well. If supposed this business decision thing we're talking about comes true, and then the entire Netherlands, Austria, wherever Max, the whole Orange Army goes, and he has entire followership, those ones begin to buy the match as well. So as much as you feel, the established Mercedes fans are going to be probably leave and lose interest, which I don't think that's the case, because a couple of wins, everybody will, okay, let's see, Red Bull was probably a toxic environment for Max and enabled his toxicity, and Mercedes is a better environment, and that is how it's going to shape out. Once again, I think we all forget that Formula One fans' memory is very, very short. The timing is very, very short. Look at how mediocre and wretched this Daniel Ricciardo has been since the beginning of the season. And he was sort of brilliant in Mexico, and everybody was singing his praises. That's how even in that same race, he ruined Tsunoda's race, but people still sang his praises. That's how short-term memory Formula One fans have. So that point you're making, I genuinely disagree with it, because a couple of wins here and entire Netherlands, entire Austrian team, Spa, where those Orange Army used to gather themselves like rats up and down. Obviously, all of them would buy the merch and they'll be fine.
I will just quickly respond to that, and I think it's very important to not try to draw equivalence between a bad driver and a bad person. Yes, Daniel Ricciardo is not doing well, but true and true. Have you seen this guy smile? You see his personality and everything. People like him, so it's easier to overlook these things. But when it comes to Max Verstappen, I understand what you're saying, but population of Austria, Netherlands, and all of that is not even up to like 3% of population of Formula One fans. So as you can put all of those people together, is nothing. It's not even up to population of Canada. Where I am, and you add Brazil, Mexico, Africa to it, Southeast Asia, that is nothing. It's like 5%. So it's not enough to make up for. And I'm genuinely telling you, there are fans of the Yellow Army that would not buy Mercedes merchandise. You can't convince me that they will not lose at least 30% on the other side. Yes, there are people in
But
the
where are you
middle
getting
that
your 30% number from? That's the funny
I'm,
thing. Where are you
this,
getting your 30%
I'm
number
just
from?
saying
Like, the truth
this is
about,
just
like, for example, I have a Ferrari merchandise that I bought in 2017. I haven't won that match one day. Why did I buy it? Because of Sebastian. I have not won that match once. And but okay, by this time, I've actually outgrown it. But that's why I bought it. So there'll be sudden buys like that. And, well, let's just forget about it. Let's not argue
okay.
with
And
that.
now how this, and we can move on to the other guys. And I'm saying, see, you bought one. Maybe you're a Manchester United fan and you may have four Manchester jerseys, right? There are people that would
I
buy
mean, this 30
every other
seconds. Can I
year.
just repeat this?
Okay, I'll wrap up. And there are people that will buy maybe one. I only have three Mercedes merchandise, and I have at least 12 Real Madrid jerseys. And I will never go to Barcelona. There's just some things that will never change, and there are fans like that on both sides. And me just saying 30%, they're just hypothetical number. Just the same way you cannot read the mind of all Mercedes fans out there or Ferrari fans, but when you just look at common sense, when people deeply hate a team, it's very, very difficult. I just don't see me putting on a jersey with Max Verstappen at the back if it comes to Mercedes. Not going to happen. Thank you.
Thank you
I mean,
very
please,
much.
30 seconds.
Please.
I promise
Please,
I'll keep it very short.
Okay, 30
Well,
seconds. Smart. Don't be
because
offended, please.
I know it will all go around. I will forget this, but I just need all of us to come to the realization that we watch these races every week, and then we come to share our opinions. But at least let's not forget that our opinions don't matter. Let all of us just remember that. I mean, it's nice when we come over here and we argue and we exchange. I mean, that's the point of it. Well, our opinions don't matter. Let's not take ourselves too serious. I mean, let's remember that. I mean, we see it. I mean, let me just give one example in football. All these Saudi and Abu Dhabi guys who are obviously morally corrupt take over a football team, and we see fans talk about, I will never support again. The stadium is getting full every weekend. Let's not deceive ourselves, please. Senna has a title that was won in controversial circumstances. Prost has one. Schumacher has two. Nobody's adding asterisks to their title today. Nobody's trending hashtags about them. All the crash tapping, cut tapping, everything. 10 years from now, we'll be sitting out with our kids. Some of us have kids already. We will not be tweeting about crash tapping and all that. Let's not overrate ourselves, please.
And by second, with the evolution of metaverse, who know what will be here in 10 years' time, but anyway. Yeah, Smart, please go ahead. Thank you.
Good evening, everyone. I remember vividly when Messi and Ronaldo were like at the peak of their rivalry, and people started saying Messi is a good person, that's why he's a better player. Ronaldo is arrogant, and that's why he's not the better player. I think it's what we are doing now as Formula One fans. We are just using personalities to judge drivers, which I personally think is pointless, to be honest. Drivers are of different characters. There's going to be the harsh guy. There's going to be the nice guy.
there's going to be all kinds of characters on the grid. So, but we shouldn't use that to pick on people. Like Mercedes fans are just attacking another driver that is not even their driver. I don't know what brought them into Red Bull politics now. They just came this area. They are all on Max and Perez case. Even we, like Red Bull fans, are not even attacking them the way the way Mercedes fans are attacking them this night. This is just so funny. Like, calm down, guys. Calm down. Like, the way they are making like Perez seems like Perez was like carrying Max to every wheel. Like calm down. Perez was not doing that. Like, I guess like 1 or 2 races, Perez helped Max out. That one is there. But Max has always been the faster driver. It's not as if when Perez came, they carried many tag and gave to him as number 2 driver. Max is the fastest one, and he's always been the one favor. That one is just there. But me personally, I didn't condone his behavior today, Sha. I would say that truthfully. I thought like he would give the place back. I was watching. I was like telling my brother, I was like, I beg he will give Perez back. That is a small thing. The next thing I know, my guy finished race, so he no give position back. But but that's just that. They'll look over it. It's not a big deal as such. I get that Perez is a bit hot at the moment, but he'll look over it. But please, we should stop picking on Max. That's just the kind of guy he is. He's a bit feisty and he's a bit distant, but all drivers are different, so we shouldn't please, okay? Thank you. That's what I have to say.
Thank you very much, Smart. I don't know what is it with you Red Bull fans. So nobody now should give opinion on Max. But anyways, this is your driver.
No. You can give opinion, but the way some people are attacking you this time, yes, it's like they've had Max in mind for too long. It's just too for their way.
Anyways, as imagine there's something you have been saying since when it comes to fans and how they are thinking, I guess. But yeah, okay.
It's not the same fans. It's not the same fans that voted one nonsense overtake of the decade. How many years ago? I mean, was it last? One very stupid overtake like that. They did the overtake of the decade. People that didn't. Well, let me just keep my mouth shut.
Salim. Salim. Oh, I thought Salim was okay. Okay, let's have an Obong then. Salim, please, I'll try and get you up. You're even next on my list.
Yeah, so I knew it was just a moment before Red Bull fans, began to push agenda and show who they really are. But anyway, that's by the way. All that talk about, you don't know why you're going ham on Max. Everybody knows why we are speaking on Max, right? We know who Max is. I think there's a difference between a driver's personality.
Yes, I can hear you.
All right.
But Enabong is speaking, please.
Thank you very much. Like
Salim, Enabong is speaking, please, if you don't mind. Thank you. Enabong,
I think it's a difference between different personalities of a driver and someone just being, plainly like arrogant and refusing to change. But that's by the way anyway. So another thing I wanted to say is while as a Mercedes fan, I would hate for Max to hypothetically join MEC, but I think that people need to realize that teams are here to win races. So there's that. Secondly, there's been a lot of talk about Lewis sitting back and letting George, possibly sitting back and letting George have the win today. I think that the fact that we are even, having that conversation may be slightly disrespectful to George's driving abilities, because after the incident with Max, I wasn't too sure that it was Lewis's race to win. I mean, he could try, but I wasn't convinced he would take the win today. But you can't tell me Lewis didn't want that win as much as George did. I mean, both drivers wanted that win. And if you know Lewis, look at his body language after the race. you can see that he clearly like wanted to win that race, and winning that race meant everything to him. So I don't really buy the idea of Lewis taking a back seat and possibly allowing George to win the race. But of course, that's my opinion. And it also seemed like they had slightly different setup with the whole downforce thing. And it may seem like George's car was working a little bit better, or George was, kind of extracting more out of the car the entire weekend. But, there's that. Of course, speculation. I mean, we can always go back and forth on that. And secondly, I don't think that Perez will do anything magnificent next season. So he's a number 2 driver. It is what it is. I mean, we've been going back and forth as, next season Perez will probably, be disruptive or, I don't think that he will do anything spectacular. The truth is, what Max Verstappen did today was, it's Max's character. That one is there, right? Is Perez a great driver? Yes. Did Perez help Max Verstappen in a couple of races last season? Yes. But we may, and I think I said it earlier when I started, we really may be pushing this agenda of Perez, Perez even saying that he helped Max Verstappen win both championships. This season, I don't see what Perez could have done, to help Max win. But then again, we could go back and forth. That's different. So yeah, there's that. So let's not. I think it's the same thing I said yesterday. Like, I understand that Perez's contract or the way that it is, may or being a number 2 driver may not let him, do the things that he wants to. But sometimes just pass the guy, like drive past the guy. Today, as Max refused to give him space, and the team had given orders, if you were fast, drive past the guy. That's literally what it is. So I don't think that Perez will do anything spectacular next season. I think he's probably still going to be a number 2 driver. Of course, I would love to be proven wrong, and I would beat my chest and say, okay, I was wrong. Perez has done things differently. But I don't think that would really be the case. Yeah, that's what I wanted to say.
Thank you very much. Okay, let's have Salim, then Regis, please.
All right, thank you very much, man. I think I'll start by saying, I think someone was talking about like how our opinions do not matter. Well, that is very, very wrong, because like most of the money that goes into Formula One is not from ticket sales. If all of us, like the whole world, decides to not watch F1 on TV, like it's dead. Like all the F1 TV subscriptions, they suddenly go offline. Everything is gone, and times are actually changing. Talking about like the Schumacher era, and like how his championships, maybe they might not be tainted. Yeah, they might not be, because like the current crop of F1 fans are younger, and maybe they might not have an idea of that. And people that actually witnessed like that time in Formula One history are kind of like more middle age and kind of growing old, right? But we're in a different world today. Like social media is there, technology has advanced in such a way that whatever you do is there forever, right? So times are changing, and yeah, like talking about how Perez, like he might have helped him in 1 or 2, that's absolute bullshit. Like I think ESPN F1, they released like a start of all, like an analysis of all like the races where um Checo was fundamental to Max winning that first championship. So you can't just tell us that he won or 2. No. And for me, what is kind of annoying is that this is a team sport, right? And in the spirit of like winning for the team, Red Bull hasn't had like a 1-2 finish, right? So this is something that they want to achieve as a team, and of course they've won the constructors championship. The drivers championship is in the bag. So yeah, Max was just being an asshole. So I don't understand like how Red Bull fans would just like they'll just come and sugarcoat things and just brush it off. Nah, it doesn't work that way. And I think something also that I think I said in like the previous spaces is that um of all the drivers that Red Bull have kind of tested to drive the other versions at least of the Red Bull car, Chaco is like the only driver that has been able to come a bit close to Max in terms of pace, right? So if they lose Max, my fear for them really is sorry, I mean if they lose Chaco, my fear for them is I don't know who they are going to find that is going to be able to drive that car because it's like a car that has been built around Max and only he seems to like make it come to life, right? And it may not be like a testament to like the driving of other drivers. They're good drivers. They just can't like operate the car as he's able to. And I think Enogbon said something about like how Lewis disrespect to George, and yeah, truly I actually I agree somewhat with what she said. But as I said yesterday, I think Lewis is not going to jeopardize like the team getting a 1-2, right? He wouldn't place his car in a way that Max would, right? So I think I said this yesterday when people were talking about like both like team members crashing. I said Lewis would be tactical in his approach, right? Yeah, of course he wanted to win. Who wouldn't? Like he's a racing driver. It's in their DNA to want to win, and he gave it all, right? But I just believe that he didn't have the pace really. That's what I believe. And I think the last thing I would talk about is before I go, my apologies if maybe I might be taking more time than Imade said something about like Mercedes signing Max, right? I don't really think so. Yeah, they might want to sign Max, but like looking back at history and look at how toxic the relationship was with Nico and Lewis, right? And I think they came to a conclusion that they said that they wouldn't want something like that to ever happen, right? And as much as Max is very talented, right? I truly believe that Russell is also very talented, and he has proven that to us.
Salim,
Like
please, 1
from
minute.
his, yeah, sorry, I'll be gone like in a bit. He has proven that to us the first time he stepped into the which car was it? W11 or 12? I think W12, right? No, W11, right? Yeah, he has proven that to us. And for me, and I keep saying this, like, yeah, he proved that to us at Spain this year. So Mercedes would not afford to like have those two guys in the same team. And Mercedes is a team that like they care about their image, right? So it's something that they're going to look at. And Max's behavior is leaning towards someone like Alonso. And I think as talented as Alonso is, there was a point in his career that like there were just very, very few teams that he could go to. So yeah, thank you very much, everyone. I yield the mic, and I think I have to go.
Salim, thank you very much for joining us this evening. Thank you. Okay, Regis, then okay, I don't think he's here. Okay, Regis, please go ahead. Then we'll have Etuk. Thank you.
So, guys, I'm back again. You know what I said earlier that Max wants to take away this guy's shine. See how somebody has won his first race in Formula One. Like they're talking about Max Verstappen and what he has done to his teammate. But it's all good. I've heard a lot of people, especially our sister, who said it by prayers. I mean, I love to pray, and we'll pray more. Hopefully, another one in Abu Dhabi. But there's something, I think it was Destiny. I don't know who said it. After how many hours, I don't think Red Bull has come out to say, oh yeah, what he did was wrong, and like a reprimand. And it makes me to now think, all these guys, Albon, Gasly, if this is happening outside, what goes on inside? How difficult is it? And anyway, it is whatever happens in there. But again, Max now came out to say if he wants to help him in Abu Dhabi. Meanwhile, you're saying, I've made myself clear. Nigga, why are you confusing yourself? You said you've made yourself clear you're not going to help him, but you're now saying if the need comes in Abu Dhabi, you will help him. Guy, say one thing and let us know what you're on. And stop confusing us. Again, we've not even talked about how brilliant Alonso moved from P17, finished P5. How he had a very fantastic race where he's all marks and his stupid antics trying to, I think we should like Alonso, Schumacher managed to finish, I think he finished somewhere P13. I don't know if that's good enough for what he's fighting for with Haas. I think Haas, they've made their mind up already and it's already a done deal. But yeah, again, Perez will be the second driver. Remember, he was on medium tires. Max was on soft. There was no way he was going to. Somebody was saying he should go and overtake him on track. There's no way it was going to happen. Maybe if he was on soft as well, it could have been a battle there. But yeah, even Sainz in his Ferrari with softs too. So anybody who says Perez was not critical in Verstappen's 2 titles, I don't know, man. I know for sure in Abu Dhabi, oh my God, like that one, just give it to Perez. But anyways, I think we should go down the grid and let Max Verstappen go and sleep and let him just get out with his arrogance. And even though my coach, Arsene Wenger, said something, for you to be a top guy, you need that level of, I remember he said you need arrogance, you need that. It's almost like confidence, but this one is not confidence. This is arrogance and bare stupidity, man. And now I'm not even having it. Nice, guys.
Sorry, can I just 10 seconds, please? I think that what Max did was terrible, but I think that, and Red Bull is a terrible team, but I think that it would be highly irresponsible of Christian Horner to have come out and reprimand his driver publicly. I mean, the guy has come out and said that we've discussed in-house and we'll sort it out. I think that would have been irresponsible of him to, I think what he would have done by reprimanding his driver publicly would have been worse than what Max did on the same level. I don't expect that a team principal will come out in public and, say, oh, what he did was terrible. The guy came out and said, listen, we've discussed it in-house and we'll discuss it in-house and we'll see how we can work together as a team. That is what I expect from any team principal, to be honest. So this expectation of us, saying that Christian Horner should have come and reprimanded Max in public,
No,
I think it would have been
when
worse.
it's reprimand, it's not like saying, "Oh, Max is a boy, this da 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 da." There's how you say this thing to make Checo feel like he is part of the team and he understands.
Yeah, but if you
like,
listen to Checo's radio, right, Christian Horner
man
came up
said,
to Checo.
please.
No. Christian Horner came up to Checo's radio and said, Checo, I'm sorry, I don't know why that happened, and we'll discuss it. And Checo says, oh, he has shown who he truly is. I really don't see if Christian Horner said anything else than what he said.
Okay, you feel like they are spreading their leaning in public or something.
That's my point. And see when we go back and forth and say, why is this team?
But at the end of the day,
you can't. He has said,
listen,
we will discuss it
Max
in-house
and
we'll sort it out.
That he's going to do this thing again, and all that's going to happen is in-house sorting out, and I'll do it over and over again. And
you do not expect a team principal to reprimand his driver in public. It's just, it will be just as well.
Before. That's what he said to us, that he has discussed it with the team, that he's not going to do this. But
no. So post-race, I mean, Max is Max, but post-race, Christian Horner has taken an interview and had said, we've discussed this. We've discussed this after the race. apparently Max after the race went to Red Bull before coming to the pen for an interview, and he says we'll discuss it after the race and we'll continue to discuss it and see how we can move together as a team. I don't
Okay, do
expect
you know
anything
that?
less from the team principal. That's it.
Do you know that till now we are still speculating that it is because of the whatever happened at Monaco? That's what he's talking
People
about.
are
We
free
don't know
to
what it is.
speculate, but you
That
can't
is
expect
where
the team principal to reprimand his guy. I mean, we were hammering on
Do you know the race
Grunter
before Monaco?
about
You know
Abi
that
on Gene Haas
Perez was
about how
supposed
he
to win
spoke
that.
about
Perez was
what's his
supposed to
guy's
win that
name.
race. You know that.
Sorry?
You remember the race
What?
before Monaco? I think it was. I don't know whether it was Baku or something. I
See,
think Perez was
let's.
supposed.
Barcelona.
Yeah.
Barcelona.
See, there's all of that. What I'm speaking on right now is just to say that if you like a
shouldn't-
couple of, I think last week we were going ham, or 2 weeks ago, we were going ham at Gene Haas about how you cannot speak about your driver like that in public. I'm not saying what Max did was bad. I mean, the first thing, I was one of the first people that spoke, and we have gone ham on Max. I'm just saying I don't expect anything less from a team principal to come out and say, listen, this happened. We've discussed it. We are going to continue to discuss it in-house and see how we can move forward. What more do you expect?
I'm talking about the tone in which he says it. See,
what should he say?
if it
Oh
were
my
Toto
God, we
Wolff,
have discussed it. Like, what do you expect?
We should let us understand that I'm not happy with this thing he did. You know that.
Why does he need to make you understand? I think it's between him and his team. They discuss it and they move forward.
That is why Perez will not. That is why the next driver will come and struggle again. And well, anyways, it's their own thing.
I think it's an in-house conversation. I think they should sort it out in-house. I don't think that we should hold Red Bull to any expectation as to come out to say that what he did was bad. They don't owe us that, right? We can see it, but they don't owe us that. I think it would be irresponsible of any team principal to come out and reprimand his driver in public. That's it.
Be English.
Hello. Hi. Okay. Yeah. Can we have Etuk next, please? Etuk, do you want to go ahead?
Okay, hi everyone. I'll just keep this short. I just wanted to respond to what Ibex said earlier on regarding the fact that the team would lose revenue if the fans stop buying merchandise simply because Mercedes chooses to sign Max. My opinion on that, I found that comment very amusing because if you look at a typical Formula One's revenue stream, sale of merchandise forms a very small percentage of where their revenue comes from. In fact, their biggest revenue source is he pointed one thing out. The biggest revenue source is sponsors, but sponsors are attracted to winners, not attracted to public opinion. For example, Arsenal is performing Arsenal is putting in a good performance and they are attracting sponsors, even if you may not love the team as a fan, they are still attracting sponsors. The second biggest revenue source for a team is the prize money they get when they win championships. So you may not like the fact that they have these drivers, so you won't buy their merch, but their merch. But guess what? They're getting revenue from winning championships, particularly the constructors championships. That's basically what I wanted to say. But in addition to that, I'd like to say this. I'd just like to add this. I'm 100% behind what Enobong said, because you cannot expect a team principal to publicly lash out at their own driver, to throw the driver under the bus. So if you think about what Max did today, was obviously an unpleasant action. But guess what? It wasn't illegal. There was nothing wrong with what Max did from a regulatory point of view or from a legal perspective or even a moral perspective. Think about what happened with Haas and was that Nikita Mazepin. Nikita Mazepin actually broke the law. He committed a crime. And even back then, the team would not publicly chastise him. What they said was, we're going to discuss that. What Steiner said at the time was, we'll talk about this in-house and we'll ensure that we deal with it. Now, that's how I expect any responsible leader to manage their any internal grievance they might have within the team. I think that's the best thing to do. You can't just air your you start uh, lashing out at your team member in public. I think that's just unprofessional. I just thought I'd add that. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you very much, Etuk. Okay, I believe we have Hassan, then Silva, then Daniela. Hassan, just before you go, we'll be closing this place at 12:30. So please let's all try and get our thoughts in quickly, and mind others. Thank you very much.
Let me just say there's a difference between lashing out and just saying, no, what he done is wrong, and we'll speak about it inside. And that's not even reprimanding. That's just saying, I've got two drivers, and one is going for something. The other one has won everything, and I'm not happy with what has happened today. It's different from lashing out, and that's it.
Yeah, so I just wanted to talk about the entire thing. So I just want to say I agree with Anobong. Yeah, as a team principal, you cannot come out and say that, oh, what this guy did is wrong, because at the end of the day, it's not wrong. Team orders are not exactly defined in F1, and you telling the other guy to switch and him not agreeing is not exactly a thing. It doesn't matter. It's not something you can take to the FI. It's not something you can take to anybody. It's just a matter of being a gentleman or honor or something like that. It doesn't really matter. And you cannot expect Honor to actually come out and say what Max did is wrong. It doesn't make sense. That's your world driver champion, the person that's winning for you, the one that's bringing in the most sponsors. I mean, why would you guys say your current best investment is wrong and what he did was wrong? And it's not as if anything he did was wrong. It's just team orders and he neglected to follow them. That's it. I mean, what exactly is Perez fighting for? P2 on the constructors, on the drivers' championship? Who here can tell me who got P2 in 2019, 2020, 2021, something like that? It doesn't really matter at the end of the day. It's just for personal glory, yeah? But Max is wrong. He's wrong. But you can't expect the team principal to come and admit that what Max did is wrong. I mean, it's like saying when even in normal real life cases of when a certain department or people do wrong things, you don't expect the office to come out and say, oh, these guys have done wrong. All they will just come out and tell you is that we're investigating what happened. And they will not come and bring out the findings of the investigation. That's all. In this one, it's just normal.
HR is calling you.
Exactly. HR is calling you. This one is just two drivers that are just doing whatever with each other. It doesn't matter. And what I would say, the main thing that really affected Perez today was that he was on medium tires while everyone else was on soft tires. So that's why he was dropping back. So this also comes into the entire safety car being deployed issue, and one person is not benefiting from the safety car being deployed at a particular time. So if Perez had actually benefited from that safety car call, and I'm not sure if he pitted or not, to be honest, I can't really remember. But if Perez was actually on
He
soft
didn't.
tires, yeah, he didn't pit, yeah. So if he didn't pit, if he actually pitted, he would not be in this situation that he's currently in. He would have probably been like fighting with Russell and Lewis up front and not dropping back into Sainz and dropping back into everyone else. This wouldn't have really happened to him at the end of the day. But you
No,
also have to say that.
he didn't pit
Yeah.
because he didn't have any soft left.
Okay, that sucks for him. But at the end of the day, you also have to say that, I mean, this guy is Perez and Max is Max. Like, there's no way you can say that him and Max will eventually end up having a championship battle. It's like, it's not something that makes sense. It's not going to happen. It cannot happen. I mean, Max is actually generational talent at the end of the day, which is another reason why you cannot come and say your main driver did wrong. It just can't happen. I just hope you're getting where I'm coming from, what I'm saying. That's what I wanted to say.
Thank you very much, Hassan. Thank you for that. Okay. Let's hear from Silva, please.
Yeah, I want to say that a lot a lot of us in the Mercedes camp, we've been saying something about Max being a crash and burn uh, race driver, and a lot of times Red Bull fans will deny it or say, oh, well, he's racing hard and all that. There's a difference between racing hard and doing crash and burn kind of race where, oh, it's my way or the highway. It doesn't make sense, to be honest. We can clearly see it today, and he himself even said it, and I quote what he said post race. He said he had no intention to give me space, and I had no intention to back out. So it's either he gives me space or we crash. This same race in Brazil last season, in lap one, Max did a dive bomb, in trying to overtake Lewis. Lewis could have equally with the same kind of thought Max had, he didn't give me space, I will not yield and will crash, but Max made Lewis go wide, and Lewis equally went wide and went off track just to make sure I avoid this guy and we don't crash. Because I look at my own race, I'm not going to end my race just because he's not going to give me space and all. But here today, you clearly see that okay, Lewis is not going to give me space. Then why don't I just crash since I'm not going to equally yield? It doesn't make sense. It doesn't make you a good driver. This just goes to show that this season it was just let me not say lucky for Max that he didn't have competition, because if he did have competition, if he had enough wheel-to-wheel racing this season, it most likely means that he will either DNF or he will have issues while racing. It doesn't make sense, to be honest. Now it goes back to telling what kind of a race driver he is. People say, oh, he's Max, Red Bull fans are like, oh, he's the greatest and all that. But you can't be a great driver with this kind of mentality. It only means that people should give you, in fact, nobody should be on the racetrack. You should be the only one on the racetrack, driving all round 71 laps and, winning the race. Only you. Because at the end of the day, you're going to have drivers on track with you. And if you cannot respect drivers, your fellow drivers, then what kind of driver are you? Because there are some moves that drivers make, and they let their fellow drivers pass out of respect. It's not like anybody cannot crash into anybody and so I won't let you pass. But there's a level of respect you have in racing. There's a level of respect you have, and he doesn't have any of that at all. To be honest, he doesn't have it, and it makes it difficult to like Max. People, the Red Bull fans say, "Oh, we're always hard on Max," but he makes it difficult for you not to be hard on him. Let's be honest. Like if you're going to be blind to that, then you're just being dishonest to yourself. But it's very glaring. Like it's very difficult to like Max. I tried liking him last season. I made an excuse, and you know what? He's a good driver, no doubt. But that is a very big thing, and is what played out today. Even when he said that he in as much as he earned a 5-second penalty, but it cost Lewis the race. Who comes to say that as a driver? Who says that? Only Max. At the end of the day, and I've not seen a situation whereby Max did something wrong and he comes out to apologize. Oh, I'm sorry for this. He's always trying to defend his position or trying to say, oh, well, I didn't finish. He didn't finish too. So both of us are out of the race. So I'm happy about that. It's a very wrong mentality for a race driver, to be honest. And to all the Red Bull fans, you can deny it all you want, to be honest, but you know the truth. That's why I think someone was saying that, oh, Max coming to Mercedes. I'm not saying it's not possible, but for a team like Mercedes, with the kind of track record they've had, they will not want a character like Max to be in their team. There's what you call reputational damage You know, they might still get their sponsorship and all that, because Max is driving and all that, but you will damage your reputation as a good team. You are, as it is now, Red Bull. You know, a lot of people have, different views about Red Bull, to be honest, and it's not a good view. You know, so that's all I just have to say. Max just needs to get his acts together. If not, forget it. All these things will just go down in history as, he is this kind of driver, and it won't really bode well for him at the end of the day. I yield.
Thank you very much, Silva. Thank you. Let's have my sister Daniela.
Hello. It's just interesting because I think that what is interesting is how people are like, oh yes, he helped Checo, Checo helped Max win the championship, and the way a whole championship is just being undermined, like it doesn't mean anything. Like, it's a championship, he helped him out 1 or 2 times. It was so crucial in Abu Dhabi. So it's the double standard of it mattering in the moment. It's exactly what Checo, the gaslighting is just interesting to me because it mattered when it happened and it was significant and he was given all applause. But now it's like, what is Checo talking about? So on his end, I think the gaslighting is something that will affect Checo within the team. On Christian Horner coming out to say something, I can see both sides of the points that Enobo made, but also what Regis said about the point that, like, yes, obviously Christian Horner cannot come out and trash his team, that's fine. But I also think that for the Mexico fans, we just came from Mexico, for the people, because now if you go to the Red Bull Racing Instagram page and Twitter, it's full of Mexican fans, full of people being like, I'm confused, what's happening? So there's people even within their own team who love the team, who are like, what has gone on? So even if Christian Horner didn't even need to mention Max's name, like Toto and Niki Lauda, the same thing happened when Rosberg was in the team and Rosberg ran Lewis onto the grass and people were asking them, what happened? Toto was like, also said we'll deal with this, but he was like, what, it's unfortunate for Lewis, we are very sorry, this and that kind of thing. So I think that I don't expect Christian Horner did not need to mention Max's name. All he had to say was, it's very unfortunate what has happened, or props, it's very sad for Checo. We are going to try our very best to help him win change the topic. We're going to try our very best to help him win the race, and we'll discuss it in-house. That's all. Then that way people are like, okay, at least, the team is sorry. Because right now the story is like, the team doesn't care. Or, it's going to be business as usual. At least for their fans in their main, is for the other fans of other teams, we don't matter to them. we're already talking about them. But I think for the people who are in their team and the Red Bull fans who love Checo, it would have just been good for them to at least, so that when we come to this platform, at least somebody will be able to say, but Christian, he genuinely apologized, and even in all, not just on the radio to Checo, but in the interviews, he has apologized. They said they are going to, and it looks like he's genuinely sorry. It just doesn't seem genuine. Maybe that's my own opinion, but maybe we are asking for too much, but that would be my own opinion. In terms of what happened in Monaco and Max Verstappen still holding to it, it's just very unfortunate. That kind of grudges, it's so easy for things to be, for something like this to, tear teammates apart. But who knows? Maybe Checo will be able to forgive him. I don't see that happening. But we'll see how it goes. Definitely, obviously Abu Dhabi again will happen. So we'll see if Max keeps his word. This is the problem about, Formula One. They have a lot of these rules are like, gentleman's rules, all this. And sometimes people break them, people don't. But I think that will also play into how people see Max as a driver as well. But the people who love him will continue to love him. The people who think he's suspect will think that he's suspect. And it's just unfortunate for Checo. And I think that it's similar to what happened to Lewis in the sense that obviously it may look like, Mercedes fans. Ridwan said, Mercedes fans, now you are trying to claim Checo. It's not time to claim Checo. It's just fact. The same way people are like, last year Lewis was robbed. People who were new to Formula One for our here ages. People are like, yes, we agree. Even some of the fans were like, this was robbed. It's just fact that it's just unfortunate that this is what has happened to Checo. So we'll see what happens. In regards to Max Verstappen coming to Mercedes, I don't know. Me personally, I can't. My only job in Mercedes is prayer warrior. They don't even know me. So my opinion, as on that regard, I agree that my opinion doesn't matter. But in terms of people's personal choices, it will be very different. I don't see myself personally supporting Max Verstappen if it comes to Mercedes. But at least for now, we thank God. At least now. Sorry, he's not coming to Mercedes, Emma. We are just discussing it. My family member said, "What? What was happening?" No, but you see, even the family members who don't listen to me talk to for Mama, they're like, that cannot happen, no. So we'll see how it goes. But for now, congratulations to Lewis and George. I agree. Back to George, back to Lewis. Great job for them both, and we'll see what happens in Abu Dhabi when we go again. But Red Bull, I think at least for their fans in the main base, they need to try and show a bit more that they are genuinely sorry, and help Checo win this. It's
Can
so
I just
interesting
mention that? So, Daniela, can I just mention to you? Can I just mention that I just went to look at Christian Horner's interview? I mean, I get you people, and I went to listen to it, and he said, and I quote, so he goes, it's very unfortunate what happened today, right? And we've spoken in-house, we are going to speak about it. But also we made it clear that Charles, I think who are on the same point. I think it's Charles and him, Charles and Perez are on the same point. And moving into Abu Dhabi, we've made it clear to Verstappen that when it comes down to it, that we'll let Checo through. And then goes on to say we'll continue to discuss this in-house and see how we can work as a team. I think that was fine. And he also on the radio apologized to his driver. I mean, I completely get it. Yeah, maybe they should come and say, but I think that was fine.
Sorry,
You
but
win
do you
some, you lose
think?
some.
Sorry, but do you think that if Abu Dhabi, Verstappen is leading and Checo is second, Verstappen is going to give the win to Checo?
Then they can have further conversations about that.
No, it is not. It's never going to happen. Max is never going to give
Never.
a place.
You
It's
can
never
only
going to
help.
happen.
You can only
Never
help on the
happening.
one on
Never
the
gonna
ground
happen.
that you can
He
see.
didn't even
And this
give
is the
him
thing.
Abeg.
So
4
sorry, but
points
this is the thing
today.
about
Do you
Messi.
think he's going
This is
to
the
give
thing
him the
about
win?
being. This is
The
the thing about
beautiful
Checo
thing is
being.
Abu Dhabi is next week, Abi. We are talking about that.
But this is the thing about Checo being a driver. Can Checo trust the team? That's the thing as well. Can Checo trust the team?
honestly speaking, I don't see I don't think Christian Horner is obligated to us to come out to reprimand his driver openly. I'm a Mercedes fan, but I don't see him. He's not obligated to come and do that. It's a team issue, so they can sort it out in house. If maybe it was like the way we had the racism issue, or maybe someone called somebody the N word. Yes, he can come out to openly reprimand, but this is like a race. This is like a team issue, so he's not obligated to us to come and reprimand Max
Nobody's
openly.
saying he's
Yeah.
not obligated to
You.
us.
That's what I've been trying to say.
He's not obliged to do anything. He's not obliged. But you have two drivers that have got two hearts, two mentalities, one person is saying, all I want is second place. It will be like a spring for me. Who knows what it will help me with? And he's asking you to tell the person who has won the championship clear. And the way he responded on the radio, he said, this guy, I've said something about this guy. Bro, no, I don't know. Maybe I'm being a bit.
See, as long as
entering my head
Christian
so much.
apologizes to his driver, right? I think we should all move on from it. And it seems like he has, and he will. I think we should just move on from him. That's what it is. He has apologized to the person in concern. Now, whether or not it will happen again is a different conversation.
Well, I think that the Red Bull team is a very not a toxic team, but it is a demanding team. It's a team which, if you are good, you stay, you get a preference. If you are not good, your teammate is better than you, then you just stay in the shadow. This is what has happened with Max Verstappen teammates like Gasly and Albon. Since they were not good, nobody was talking about them in the team. Nobody praised them. Even when they had a good race, it was always about Max. But now that they found somebody who can help them, like Perez, they are trying to help Perez to let him stay a bit longer in the team, because definitely having two teammates can help you win both the championship and the Drivers' Championship, which with Perez really helped Max win the championship last year, because without Perez, Max was never near Lewis, because about 20 points Perez took away from Lewis last year, definitely, which with those points, Lewis would have won the championship in Jeddah. And also, somebody said that if Max moved to Mercedes, their merchandise is gonna drop, which is never true. because if you remember the driver which was most hated in Formula One before Vettel moved to Ferrari was Vettel himself when he was in Red Bull and was fighting with Alonso for the championship. But when Vettel moved to Ferrari, nobody had a problem with him. So the same thing is going to happen to Verstappen. If he move to Mercedes, everybody is going to be fine because as fans, you want your team to win. So if your team brings somebody who is capable to win, no matter what happened in the past, you are just going to be happy to have him in your team. So that's it.
Okay, thank you
I
very much. Okay,
actually
Amadi,
love
please
that.
go ahead.
Yeah, so I love that everyone is talking about this Verstappen's Mercedes. It was hypothetical from my own point of view, but I love that the conversation has gone that way. And but what I wanted to okay now, oh yeah, just go ahead. Go ahead.
All right, Imade, ultimately, top teams attract top drivers. Mercedes is a top team. Max Verstappen is a top driver. It's a very high possibility. It's actually more than hypothetical because the only two teams that Max can go to, either Mercedes or Ferrari.
He's going to ruin his career by going to Ferrari. So at this point, it's either he remains in Red Bull or he goes to Mercedes. So that has no point. Please,
I
sorry,
think
but
Max will retire as a Red Bull driver.
Why is everybody dissing Ferrari? What has Ferrari waiting done to you? Why?
Let's hear from Miss Catrock, please. Miss Catrock, thank you for waiting. Miss Catrock. Okay. Okay, let's hear from Mambula. Sorry, I didn't get that right.
Yeah, Mamubala.
Okay. Thank you for correcting me, Mamubala. Okay.
Sorry, I just came in
Nice
late.
one.
Yeah, I forgot about this piece because I was so angry, man. So, anyways, congratulations. Where's Daniela? I wanted to congratulate her personally. Shit, she left. Anyways, congratulations to all Mercedes fans, first win of the season, and then big congratulations to Russell. He drove very well, He kept his cool down, everything went his way, and I'm so happy for him for the first win. And then again, what Max did today, oh God, that was so painful to watch, man. Like, even as a real Max Verstappen fan, I really thought he was going to let Checo pass. So, like, that really pissed me off also. Yeah, I think he needs to work on that though. So yeah, I was really angry with him about that. So thank you. Yield the mic.
Thank you very much. Okay. Let's hear from Charlie. Charlie, thank you for waiting.
Hello.
Hi, Charlie.
Hi. Good evening, all. I'll just be quite quick. I think today was interesting. I think everyone's made the usual points, and one thing I'm quite surprised about people in regards to Verstappen's behavior against his teammate. Historically, he's never been a team player, so I'm not sure why people are confused with his behavior today, because that's just Verstappen. That's what he does. That's what he's been molded to become like. And so now he's just a law unto himself in regards to within the team, outside the team, and in the FIA establishment. And so whatever he does, as he said, he has nothing to lose, hence why he did what he did to Lewis and messed up his race. And he only got, like, he shrugged his own shoulders. I only got a 5-second penalty. So that shows you clearly that whilst you cannot battle will to will, like a lot of people can do so on the grid, whilst you have respect for Leclerc when you drive against him, you cannot do the same when it comes to Lewis. I don't know what's in his head. He gets erratic and he does this dangerous driving. And here we are today. I do think that if Mercedes did have the opportunity at the time when Verstappen was around to obviously let him take the second seat. I don't think his behaviour or his attitude would be what it is today. I do think Mercedes probably would have moulded him a little bit better, because I think that how the Red Bulls are, they're just merciless. I get that each driver has been zealous in like throughout the years, all of them been hot-headed, Seb, Lewis, all of them have been at one point or another. But I think there's a different breed in Verstappen where it's like dangerous driving is now okay. That's the problem. Everybody else seems to be able to drive correctly, but he has issues. I'm not saying he cannot drive. He can drive, but he's becoming more of a dangerous driver, which is different now. In terms of Checo, I don't feel sorry for him at all. You signed a contract with the devil. This is what you get. I'm not sure why you're confused with the behavior, how these people have been treating you. They've been treating you like this from day one. When you signed it, when you left Force India, and you drove like a madman, and they said, "Oh, we'll take you," because obviously Daniel, no, not Daniel, sorry, Albin had left. I think he wasn't doing too well. They took him, signed him. This is the terms of the contract. You'll be second driver. That's it. Don't look for world championship titles with us because Max is our number one. Hence why Daniel left, because it was just too much. And today, you are finding out yourself. Is this how they treated me? Yes, we've been telling you, we've been showing you. Look at Papa Perez. Look how the man looks sad. This man is always joyful at every single GP. This man followed his son, and today I did not see the smile on his face because of how this man treated his son. So imagine, now his eyes are open. What are you going to do? Yesterday was an indication. You said, can I go in front of him because you're running faster than him? They had the audacity to give you radio silence. They didn't even press the button to say, Perez, no. They just ignored him. And then today, look what happened. You asked your teammate, and this is what happened. He ignored the team orders because of what happened in Monaco. So if this man can hold this in his chest from then until today, do you think he'll ever win a race? Even I think when he was in Mexico, someone said to Max, "Will you let Checo win?" Oh well, he better be second if he's gonna win. You see, so me, I don't have no problem. Checo, you signed the line. That's it. Finish. It's up to you. It's for you to look to your ancestors in Mexico and give you the strength to beat this man. Me, I would support Checo, but you know what? Because I'm a Lewis fan, Lewis stood in Mexico twice this year and last season. What did these people do? They booed him. I have no respect for them. So it's up to him. It's up to these people to do something. I'm finished.
Yeah, but Charlie, you do realize he was sort of forced to sign that deal because that was the only seat available in F1. That was the only seat available.
I understand you
on the
get
grid
to
at the
sign
time.
it. Understand you get to sign a deal, but you as a driver have integrity, yes? If you believe that you are just as equal, or in your mind, whether the team believe you or not, you and yourself are equal to think, you know what, I can do just as good. If I have to challenge this man to show him who I'm about, then so be it. But you're like, no, okay, I'll bow down. I'll keep bowing. You're bowing so far on the floor, you can't even bow anymore because your eyelashes are lying on the floor. And today, is this how this man is? Why are you shocked? You can't be shocked. He's been doing this since last year. Even last year, when they stole the championship from Lewis, they stole it. Don't get me wrong. He did well. He did what he's supposed to do. As Herman Marco said, he's the Ministry of Defending. He did well. I cannot fault him for that because that's what a number 2 driver does. But since then, the lack of the disrespect they give to this man every so often. And then today, you want to say, well, he signed a contract. Yeah, you signed a contract, but you yourself have integrity,
Yeah, but we know it's employment, right? So it's kind of like, it's not like I'm a project manager and then if I resign from this job, it's another project management job that's waiting for me. It's more like how many Formula One seats are there? So if you want to stay employed and XYZ do what you love, you're gonna have to take this
And
job.
But at the
That's what it
same time,
is.
as a project manager,
okay.
as I do as well, you have to be able to command your team. You're gonna have to say, you know what,
Yeah, but I think
I've seen what the other PM does. I don't agree with it. I'm going to do what I
But
need to do in order to
yeah,
get to
but
what I need to
the
get to.
offer on the table. I mean, we're talking about Max's contract yesterday, right? I agree with you in the sense that Checo really shouldn't be surprised. You got what you signed up for. But we talked about Max's contract yesterday. The offer on the table is you are the number 2 man, right? So if I ask you to jump,
Yes.
your question to me is how high. So I
And
get
that
what
was
you
a take
mean.
it or leave it
Yeah.
offer
So I
because
completely get what you mean.
he didn't have a drive at the time.
Yeah. So the difference is for
uh,
him the difference is that Checo thinks he has integrity, like Max has integrity. That's the
please,
difference. So
please
this is what he signed up
please
for.
hold on. Let me play devil's advocate here because and I'm gonna use the example of the job here. At least some of us here will have done multiple jobs, or at least have worked in multiple industries. If one industry does not work, maybe you switch to another industry. There's Indica, there's Le Mans, there's this one. Must he be in F1?
Who are we
No.
deceiving? F1 is the height.
So yeah.
Come on. If
And
Daniel
Daniel
Ricciardo,
Rick
as
is
bad as he
currently
is, does not
running
want to go
for
to
Daniel
IndyCar,
Rick,
it's not
exactly.
Perez you're asking.
Quickly, please, guys. Let's look at Let's quickly touch one of the teams
Let's
down the
touch Daniel
probably
Rick because he's a
McLaren.
thief.
McLaren.
Daniel
Let's
alone.
look at well, McLaren, they are worthy to discuss because both drivers didn't finish today. As I said earlier on, one was mental, one was mechanical. And
Those people, they are not. What of our pine, our pine?
Exactly, Alpine. Let's
That's
talk
the
about
team.
Alpine.
okay, yeah. I guess we can juggle both. So
Well, I
Exactly.
think
Because one has
Alpine,
been swindling people.
yeah, Alpine made the right decision today with telling them, telling Ocon to let Alonso pass. So I think that is the only sensible decision they made this week.
Yeah. I mean, with such a father-son kind of, the tension was cutthroat, the way that he went, back and forth to say, do you hear me? I am telling you, though. I was like, okay, sorry, But yeah, I completely agree.
So, I'm sorry, please, who is speaking? Rowan. Even above 18, says. But yeah, Enobank, please go ahead.
No, yeah, that's about it. I was just saying that
Yeah,
I
go ahead,
think.
sir.
Can you hear me?
Yes, please.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was just saying that I think I agree. Not like they asked him to let him through. They just say don't fight the guy. But yeah, because I completely agree. But I just felt that the man, maybe because of what happened, needed to be said in that manner. So there's that. But I think the cultural tension that the back and forth between Ocon and Gigi, it's almost like he wanted him to affirm, like say yes, I have heard you before I go off this. I go off this line. So it was very father-son instruction kind of thing. But yeah, I completely agree. No fighting.
Thank you very much. Okay, let's have Hassan, then we'll have Ibex next. Thank you.
Yeah, I just wanted to say that the Alpine situation was actually very interesting, and to see the fights back from Ocon on the radio, because Ocon was actually arguing with his race engineer that I still need to protect my race, I still need to do this, I still need to do that. Then his race engineer was not trying to get more technical with him, and when he was not trying to say stuff like, when Alonso is approaching you, I need you to not fight him. Can you confirm this? And Ocon just kept quiet after that. I think it was just funny, and the entire situation at McLaren, at Alpine is just still weird and fuzzy. And this is the last race, and then next season we now have the full chaos era of Ocon and Gasly. So I'm expecting that to be worse. I'm hoping for it to be worse. I'm looking forward to it for it to be worse and all of that. And then the
How
other
about
team
Alonso and Stroll?
Alonso and Stroll. I feel
They're getting cozy in preparation for next season.
That's another keg of
More
gunpowder ready
like
to
Alonso and the
blow.
entire Aston Martin team.
Yeah.
So I think Alonso is going there just to be a teacher and to collect salary. So I don't think he's going there for anything more than that. Because like, what does he want to go and essentially do with Aston Martin? It's like
Alonso
it's
is
downgrading.
delusional. Though. He thinks they can win a championship,
Exactly.
a whooping
Aston
championship.
Martin are not
Please,
really hoping at this point. They're still building their factory. They're still building a lot of things. Their own team plan is for years into the future. It's not now. It's not next year. So what he's hoping for, I don't know. The other person I wanted to touch on is Daniel Ricciardo. I know I've talked about how he crashed out so easily, but then like this guy's nonchalance and all of that. Like before the entire race started, he was wearing a Brazil jersey. He was doing his normal warm up. So I'm just like, he did all of this, all the warm up, all the preparation, and into turn. What turn was that? And he's out, and that was the end. Like it just feels very underwhelming, and like it's $50 million per year that this guy is collecting, and this is the performance he's putting in at the end of the day. It rubs me off very one type of way, and like it does me. That's why I'm so passionate about Alonso, because it's like sorry about Daniel Ricciardo, because like it's an essential waste of money. $50 million. If you give that to Alfa Romeo, 2 times their development budget, they will be at the front. Legit, they will legit be at
But
the front.
can we also say that maybe Ricardo was desperate to make a final some kind of final show off to say,
Desperate.
listen, I still have some kind of talent. Maybe it's that desperation
No.
that
final
drove him
what? Is
to.
it Brazilian?
No, look
What?
at it like
Same
yesterday.
desperation
The,
that
the
hasn't
famous
shown.
race.
No, but think
Talent
about
that
it.
hasn't
In
shown.
hopes of he keeps going on. I mean, he has told himself, right, and convinced himself that there's a possibility for him to come back in 2024. So maybe in the
It's gonna
last
be
couple of races, right? Let's just think about it this way. Maybe in the last couple of races, he's trying to say, okay, let me at least show that at least I can do something, so that maybe 2024 someone can think about me. And that's how, we get here. So maybe it's that desperation that has cost him. Again, I'm just playing devil's advocate. Maybe it's that desperation that
Okay,
cost him
let's
to
do it like
crash.
this. Let's say you're a team principal, you have 2 empty seats, and you have a reserve driver seat empty. Would you hire Daniel Ricciardo?
No. But if it
Simple.
worked out, if that move worked out today, right, and he passed, I promise you, we will be here saying, Danny Rick. I swear, like
God
we will
forbid.
really be here hailing him. That's what it is.
Elon, I'm telling you, that place
Okay,
that
so to be fair,
that place that Daniel put that car, for anyone that plays the F1 game, Regis, I'm sure you are on that with. There is no
the thing,
bloody
it tire
way
me.
you could have passed from that
I
angle.
agree with you.
There is no.
I know,
I
man. That
don't understand.
one,
I
see,
agree.
but to to be be fair, it was almost a tire.
But see how he overtook Ocon. Where was he, in Mexico? And then it was a little bit risky, but he put on the move, and we're like, Danny Rick. He remembered today that he's a driver. I'm not saying that, but I'm just saying that if he had mistakenly, for any reason whatsoever, got away with that, we will be here, maybe half singing, half saying, okay, the guy has remembered how to drive today. That's just all I'm saying. Again, I'm playing devil's advocate. You people know that I've said that Rick's career is ended.
Okay, to be
Even
fair,
a wrong
okay, so to be
a
fair,
bad club.
Danny Rick.
Great.
Yeah, sorry, Made. So to be fair, Danny Rick actually has built his career on a reputation of being able to make superb overtakes. That used to be him. So I mean, Imade had made reference to the overtake of the century, that they voted one nonsense as the overtake of the decade. For me, my overtake of the decade was Danny Rick into turn 1 at Baku, where he took 3 people at the same time. That's the Daniel Ricciardo that we remember. I don't know where that guy has gone to. I don't know where that guy has gone to. So Enomo is right. If he had managed to pull that off, but then again, like the admin has said, if you play the game, you would know that it was not on at all. There was no way he could have pulled it off. Well, if a miracle had happened, we would have been singing his praises right now.
Please, I want to quickly say something. There is a pairing that I feel we're not even discussing. No one is even anticipating. Piastri
Lando
and
Norris,
Norris.
I know.
Battle of the Gen Zs.
That's where you will see who Norris is. I'll be telling you, baby Verstappen, character-wise. You
now,
will see.
I agree with you, but what if Piastri doesn't come good? Piastri might
Well,
come and become a flop.
To be such a shame though, because I'm
Well,
out here rooting for the guy.
After all the noise. After all the noise.
Exactly. So he hasn't driven an F1 car, so we can't really judge his abilities at the moment.
So
But
that
I mean,
guy
from
was
the
at
way
Red
he
Bull. Who
handled
told
the whole
you
Alpine thing, he seems like a
that
no nonsense guy. But then again,
that
let's
guy
see.
was at Red Bull and couldn't even match Verstappen? What can he do in a dead McLaren?
Sorry, who?
Alex, you want to go ahead? Oh,
No, I
sorry.
said that Gasly couldn't
Oh,
even match Verstappen the Red Bull. What can he do in a dead
No, we're
McLaren?
talking about Piastri, Piastri.
yes, true.
Sorry, also
Sorry,
Piastri.
sorry.
Yeah.
Alex, you want to go ahead?
Yes, please. So those two, they would need to separate them by fourth or fifth race. Just wait. They would actually fight, And I think I stepped out for a while, but I'm not sure if anyone addressed this. I think Red Bull should be investigated, and you guys are gonna start laughing, and I'll say why. If Verstappen is telling the truth, it's either Perez deliberately crashed his car, or they are allowing him to be slandered in public. Both cannot be true, and we need to look seriously into this. And I don't know if anyone else feel, the same way about that. Because if Verstappen is actually right that that guy deliberately crashed, it's because he's got inside information. If he's
Sorry,
right,
Verstappen didn't actually say it. It's actually just a Dutch reporter that is saying it. So it's
Yeah,
not as
it's
if
just
no, I said
speculation.
if he's
RB
It's
is
just
right.
officially.
speculation.
No, but
I'm
also
saying no.
hear what
I'm
Verstappen said though.
I'm saying if he is right because he's got inside information. I'm not saying he said it. If he
You know
is
why
right,
I may agree with you, Ibex. Sorry. Why I
yes.
may agree with you is because so Verstappen says in his interviews, right? And he says, so even all over the radio, he said, I explained to you last summer. That's what I was telling his team. I explained to you last summer that if he comes down, like if this happens, I won't do it. I discussed this with you. I don't know why you guys are bringing it up. But that's what he says. Now, when he's on the pen doing an interview, he says, immediately after the race, I went to talk to the team because they know why I had said that I would not leave, space for Perez. I don't want to talk about it in public, but, that's what it is. And then the lady, interviewing him goes on to say, is this about Monaco? He smiles and says, well, I'll leave you to imagine whatever. And then he moves on. Right? So
Yes.
that's also why I feel maybe, and I agree with you.
And I think the moment that
I don't understand.
sorry, let me just finish. The moment that rumor started online, Red Bull did not go out there to defend him. That's what got me concerned. Because these people, they have a very big media, and that's something they should have jumped on right away. Because it's also a reputational damage for Checo if it's not true, and they've done nothing really to address it. Because these people, they have a very, very big media machine. This was the same guy that started this insinuation, like maybe Lewis Hamilton was like using drugs and all. These people, they know what they're doing when it comes to media power, and they have not addressed it unless if I'm missing it. But my point is they both cannot be true. So we really need to keep an eye on this, because if it's actually true and Verstappen is up to something, that's something that is actually worth looking into. And if it's wrong, then they should be out there defending Checo, and I'm not seeing that defense from the team. Thank you.
Yeah, by the end
But
of the
the truth
day,
about
it's not Red
some,
Bull.
some
It's
of all
just
these
a
things,
reporter that is saying it. Like, it's just one reporter that is saying it's as good as us saying that all the other drivers that used to crash during the qualifying back then, they crashed on purpose. Like, it's just an opinion. And he's saying that
George
he
Russell,
heard the
yeah.
information from
George Russell on
Helmut
Friday, for
Marko
example.
and Christian Horner. Exactly. So, like, just look at where the guy is saying he got information from. He said he got it from Helmut Marko and Christian Horner. And that Sergio Perez went to go and tell them after the qualifying that, he crashed on purpose so that Max will be able to get another lap in. Like, it doesn't make any sense, because what would Perez gain from crashing on purpose at Monaco? I think it was at the back of Max at the end of the day during the qualifying session. So why should he crash on purpose when he's not gaining anything? And Max is still just going to be behind Charles. It didn't make any sense for him to say
Please,
that he crashed on purpose.
sorry, Hassan, let me understand something. Checo crash on purpose. He damaged the car, yes or no? Is that not going to affect them financially? Is this stupid?
it will affect them
That's
financially.
that is what I'm
It
actually
will
saying.
affect them.
The whole call for investigation seems funny to me because what is there to investigate? What was the crime, or what was the
Okay,
supposed or
the
suspected crime?
reason I said
Plus,
that, if we all look at Monaco, it's very difficult to overtake, right? If I do
If
say,
Ibex, I feel you are reaching. I'm sorry, but I feel you are reaching. You want to
okay,
nail Red Bull to the cross,
Exactly.
and they've actually done more grievous things than whatever you're saying at this point.
And
so
you also
I
have to
agree.
consider
I
the
agree.
arts of crashing. Because like you remember like the time Charles actually crashed, there was just his front wing or
Exactly.
something that just tapped small. And what happened to him? His gearbox. It was his gearbox that spoiled. Just from what you would consider a small tap on the barricade. What happened with Perez was actually worse. His entire left side hit the wall and was actually very hard. And then Sainz also came in and hit his front right again. Like there's no way you engineer that and it will be perfect enough that your car will not have any issues and you will just be able to go
Exactly.
with no
That's
great penalties. It doesn't make sense.
that's exactly what I was
well,
gonna say
just to
because
be
that's a
clear,
big.
I'm not asking to investigate Red Bull. I want to be clear. I'm saying the driver. I just want to clarify that, right? Just to be clear, I'm saying the driver. If there's truth to it, is something that should be looked into. That's all I'm saying. Thank you.
But how
Yeah,
is that
yes,
going
but
to be
what we are
determined?
saying,
That's the
yeah,
point.
but what we are saying is that it's very unlikely that there's any truth to it because the very possibility that this guy would have crashed into the barrier deliberately is very slim because I mean look at what Master Chief is saying and he's absolutely right. See what happened to Charles Leclerc and I mean a small tap and ended up with gearbox damage. What did that happen? And what happened to him? He started from the pit lane. He started that race from the pit lane, effectively started from the back of the grid. So yes, you might finish the qualifying session with the fastest time on the board, but it doesn't guarantee that you're going to start the race in front if you end up crashing your car that way. That the risk is not worth it at all. So I don't think any other driver would deliberately think to say, you know what, let me crash to prevent someone from setting a faster time. The if you're going to stop someone from setting a faster time, you do it like Michael Schumacher did. You go into a runoff area, let them put out the yellow flag. That's how you do it. You don't go and crash your car to stop people from from setting a faster time when you know that you could end up worse for it.
Interesting. Anyways, um, somebody has done a thread where the advice we listen to the throttle input on the Monaco outlap. But yeah, everybody will be okay. I mean, I feel this in the past. Otilo, they won the championship. Either with this is more of a team problem now. You know, investigation wise, I don't know. I think we've spoken about the FIA probably implementing a rule for any driver that crashes their car in quali, probably start from the back or take a grid penalty or something like that. So maybe a review of the rules or regulations would prevent something like this or even prevent the speculation like this. But yeah, it is what it is at the end of the day. So, does anyone want to touch on anything just before we round up?
Yeah, I want to talk about Mick Schumacher. So like I truly believe that this is the end for Mick Schumacher in F1 because at the end of the day, this boy still finished what was it, P13, and I'm not seeing him go anywhere pretty much after this. Magnussen thoroughly beat and manhandled this boy this season, and I think you'll go with Hulkenberg next season because like the entire thing for Gunther Steiner was that like he wanted to test young drivers when he removed all the old drivers the season prior. He wanted to test with Mazepin and Schumacher. He tried it with Mazepin. Mazepin was shit. Tried with Schumacher. Schumacher just brought damages and more costs to an already financially burdened team. and now he's only finishing P13. Now that his other teammates has crashed out, and I don't see how they're going to keep up with him because they're a team that wants to be fighting for the midfield, getting points, getting stuff, getting all of that, and now your teammate has been knocked out, and you cannot do anything about it and get at least one
Hassan,
point.
where did you expect Schumacher to finish? I'm just curious. With the house that he's driving. P10.
Hassan has an agenda against Schumacher. Just leave him
I
alone.
don't think they'll even get
I'm
there.
just here. I'm
Confused. At least P10. Ferrari
Okay,
has
I
actually
admit,
very
I expected
Yeah.
him to get to P10. I
to get to
confess.
P10.
Yeah. Yes,
I mean,
I'm one of
look
the
away
idiots, I confess.
When he's
How
not
can he
driving.
get
Getting to
P10,
P10
man?
was a
Even
long shot.
Vettel did not even get P10. Vettel that had a drove like.
Do you understand? P10.
Come
I
on now.
actually don't think it's the end of Mick Schumacher's career. I think that even if he
He'll
doesn't
go and
get a
come back.
seat, he'll be back. I think the guy is talented. I mean, I understand that he's young and there's all of that, but I think that he has some talent in him. So I don't think it's the end. If he doesn't get his seat, I think maybe a reserve driver. But I definitely think we'll see him back in F1. But I think your expectation may be a little bit too high for him to finish P10.
Nah, it's too
Let's
high.
not forget,
He's not
started
driving a
P18.
McLaren or an Alpine.
Yesterday, he started P18 and ended P12.
Sorry, guys. But
For
I
real,
want to
him
Yesterday,
remind
he
you
finishing
that
started
P10
P18 and
is a
ended
long
P12.
shot.
Still not P10.
I want to remember you that F1 is not about talent because we have many talent drivers, but some are not in F1. So you have to be winning to show that you can be a champion. So it's
I
not
mean,
just about talent.
we established that yesterday, right? But I'm just saying that Mick has some juice that can be extracted, in the coming years. That's all I'm saying. I don't think it's the end of his career, even though he doesn't get his seat next year. I don't think it's the end
I
of
don't
his career.
disagree with you
Yes,
that he's
but
not
for now,
talented,
I don't think he's getting
but
that seat.
he's coming at a huge financial cost. My guy is
Definitely.
crashing cars or something like that at the end of the day. And Haas is not a team that has money like Mercedes or Ferrari that they can easily fill up the cost cap.
They even struggle
be
to
able
meet up
to-
to the code.
Exactly. Because like sometimes I think the biggest and most expensive one he has cost them was £1 million plus. And that's because the total car was wrecked. They needed to bring a new chassis and all of that. You cannot be doing stuff like that anymore and putting it in thinkers like he did constantly.
For Hassan,
I think it's
Schumacher has outperformed Magnussen in the second half of the season.
Thank
But
you.
you're not mentioning Schumacher has outperformed Magnussen. But I know you personally, so I know that you have an agenda against Schumacher. So that's why I've not even bothered about what you're saying. I just know you have an agenda against Schumacher, so you'll be fine.
Okay, but look at it here. If we compare Mick Schumacher to Magnussen's performance this weekend alone, who was better and who was more massive?
It can't just be this
Schumacher was
weekend.
better,
Also, I
actually.
think
Should we say it now? Schumacher had a stinker in quali. Schumacher gained how many places to P12? Magnussen lost how many places to P what? Where did he start from? So do the math. Who gained more? If you're going to do the statistics, who gained more in the sprint?
I
I'm
mean, I
waiting on
guess we'll
Hassan.
never know because somebody tapped someone else. So
I
we
don't
can
think it
really not
should be a
know.
valid comparison
Two
because
that was a 180.
Hassan, who gained more places in Schumacher and Magnussen in the sprint?
We'll have to ask Daniel Ricciardo. I mean,
And
he tapped
the guy is
someone
driving
else.
a Haas, I beg. He's not a McLaren or a Alpine or an Aston Martin. He's driving a Haas.
Please,
You
Haas
can't be
was on
expecting
pole.
miraculous things from, I understand the costing the team money thing. And I think we've discussed it on this space several times. I have even said that I think he's hiding under his father's shadows. I get that, but I don't think it's the end of his career, to be honest.
But you don't expect Kevin Magnussen to hold up places against the top teams because there's a difference in performance in their car.
Exactly.
Their cars,
That
you
shows that
So
he got that position by luck. But if Judge didn't crash out, he wouldn't be P1. He wouldn't
exactly.
be P1.
Exactly.
So he got a position by luck.
You know, it's that thing that happens in F1 that I think I've mentioned with Daniel Ricciardo before. When Danny Rick won in Monza, he's back. You know, Magnussen won a pole by mistake. You know, oh my God, Kevin Magnussen. Like, you just look at take one event and then
Yeah,
run with it. And we
there's
forget
this
that.
sudden hype that comes with.
Exactly, and then you set the driver up for failure. I think maybe that's why, you know, Daniel Ricciardo is having to
But
sit down
but
to gas up more.
let's be celebrating people now. It's people that has to pass as and one, so that is
No,
still
no,
the
no.
same thing.
Yes, but look at the entire
But he
F1
was
world.
there to put
They will
he
write an
put himself
entire
in that
thesis
position
paper.
now. I
Sorry?
mean, K-Man put himself in that position. We need to give him credit for that one.
No, definitely. But we all know that the poll was very opportunistic. I understand that. What I'm saying is the way the F1 community now hypes the driver. The driver now feels that, you know, I'm that guy. Like, look at Danny Rick. Danny Rick is not the guy that he thinks that he is. And I think that, you know, why you know this happened is he won that race in Monza. Everybody, Daniel Ricciardo is back. You know, pundits did a entire thesis paper. You know, my guy, interviews left and right. The guy now began to feel like, I'm that guy. Now here we are. You know, they set the driver up for failure. Now we are looking at him and we're like, you know. I think that's what happened with, you know, K-Mag too.
No,
Yesterday,
but
we're like,
I don't actually. Sorry to jump in. I don't actually think they set him up for failure. I think they're just giving him praise for getting pulled for the first time. That's all. I think everybody knew that there is no way he's gonna get anywhere but maybe P9 or P10. There is no way
They
he's gonna
predicted
beat any of the
he
top
would
team.
win the sprint.
So I
They
don't think they
predicted
big
him
him up.
to
Big him up just to acknowledge that he's got pulled. That's all. They're letting him enjoy his moments. That's all. They
no, yeah,
know.
but what that translates to, right? I agree with you completely. But what that translates to, right, is now a particular fan base. Like, okay, I'm like, see now, we've forgotten. Imade was just saying that Mick has outperformed Kevin, right? The second half of the season, and
Yeah.
I agree, it's true. However, we've not seen it. Kema got pole, so he's that guy. That's all. That's what I'm trying to say.
No,
Yes,
but
we should give him credit, but
they've already confirmed that they want K-Mag there anyway, even before the poll. They were already saying K-Mag is a certainty for Haas next season. They
again,
already said that.
true.
Yeah.
I'm
So
just saying that, you know, sometimes give him his credit here. So I'm just saying that sometimes we just, you know, we
yeah.
so, you know, big these people up that they begin to feel like, you know, I'm that guy. But anyway, that's
And
just the way.
I don't think they're bigging Ricciardo up because we know he was a good driver. I know he's lost it right now, but before, I mean, Ricciardo was one of the top drivers. I've been watching
Of
Formula
course.
One. I've been watching Formula One since
Saying that
2007,
I
and
make a joke
Ricciardo
with
was,
my friends. See, I
yeah,
make a joke with my friends and say that they need to do a documentary. And in my head, I've titled that documentary "The Art of Overtaking Daniel Ricciardo." I think he's an excellent driver. But
yeah,
my point is,
Just
what I'm
8
trying to say is,
races.
after he won that Monza, everybody started saying Daniel Ricciardo is back. Back from where? Someone that's not been performing, you know, at optimum level for how many? But because he won this race, and it's also, I think Hamilton would have won that race because Verstappen took him
yeah.
out. So he didn't. Hamilton was set to win. But, you know, Ricardo won like, oh my God, he's back. From where? From the dead? The guy has
Yeah.
not won like any races for how many, you know, seasons, and you're here going off. Notwithstanding, they can give him
And
his
he
credit.
also won that race. He also
But
won
I
that
think
race because of team orders. Because there were team orders from Zach Brown to Lando
For
not to
Norris not to
attack him.
overtake him.
Exactly. So
well, in any case, I think he got the opportunity and he took it.
And no
So
bang, I'll
that is
fight you.
what matters. Then is when you are given the opportunity, you take it. Look at Max.
But
Max
can I just ask, change the subject a bit? Do you not think Alonso, people praise Alonso too much? I don't know whether you guys have talked about this
Were you
already.
here yesterday?
I
No,
joined
I actually
because
like Alonso because of his
like even
terrorism on
today,
track.
even today they were praising him. I mean, look at what Lewis did today. I know he didn't win, but the guy was knocked sideways. He still came through to second.
and yet Alonso does fifth or sixth, and they start praising him. I don't get the
The
effort
guy
there.
has a record of sharing brown papers.
Abba,
Maybe you're sharing
Abba,
brown
but
papers to people like
honestly,
that.
Alonso is a good driver. Now let's not
He's a good
we know
driver,
that
but it's
I
too.
dislike him as well. But let's not lie about Alonso. Alonso is a
Yeah,
very
yeah,
good
yeah.
driver.
Nobody.
He
I've been
he deserves
watching Formula One for ages. I know he's a good driver, but
deserves the kudos.
more recently, he's not getting anywhere. Let's be honest with
Hey,
ourselves. He's not getting second. He's not getting first. So where is he?
he doesn't have.
Alonso's
Hold on.
problem is PTSD.
Alonso, he
He never
he
even
doesn't have
recovered. He never
machinery.
recovered
He
from
doesn't have the
2007.
machinery to get. He doesn't have the machinery to get first or second. Let's not lie. He has also
Right.
been very unfortunate in some instances where his engine has given up on him and that kind of a thing. So while I dislike the verbal nonsense side of Alonso, his talents are still very, very much active and still very, very there for us to see. If you give him the machinery, you'll see the madness is going to cause because he's a very talented driver.
Yeah, he is.
But I think I see both ways though. So I think what Lukman may be where he may be coming from is, I think we spoke about it yesterday, how the thing where Alonso is 2-time champion and people just I know we went back and forth about how people just blow this thing out of proportion.
Yeah.
Same thing, like I get that, but also aside Alonso's issues with mechanical issues, he's had a pretty decent season, to be honest. Like
Yeah.
there's so many cases where I was for sure, I thought for sure this guy would be on the podium, right? So I mean I don't like him either, but
But
he has
I've
had a
never
mega season.
felt that way. Every race, I've never felt he's gonna get a podium. It doesn't matter how much they boost him. I've been watching Formula One for ages. I've never felt that it's going because there's always something about it. He can fight, he can hold people up, but getting that podium again, I've never felt it.
It's the car. It's the car. He doesn't have the car to
Well,
fight for it. That's what
I
it is.
also think he's got
Abex,
this. Sorry.
God. Abex, please make your point.
Yes, please. Just for the person that I was talking about, Alonso. If you put Alonso in the Red Bull car today, it would do better than Checo. I can tell you that, even though
Oh
I
yeah.
don't like this guy. Right? That is just the truth. He's just petty, and that's why we hate on him. He's an excellent driver. So my question here for Mercedes fans here is, I'm just a little bit jaded. I've seen a performance in the last 2-3 races, and I know that our car, because of how the injector works for the fuel, we have more efficiency in high altitude, which means the other cars they need to operate with more power to kind of like be able to give same performance, which gives them more issues with drag. Are we really back, or this is just like this track favors us? I just need someone to like give me that assurance, because by the time next season comes around, I don't want to have this false hope. Like, what do you guys think?
No, we're
To be
not
honest,
back.
I didn't want to be
We
the one
just
to say it.
I love this question. I
I
actually didn't want to
didn't
be the one
want
to
to
say
be
this
the
thing.
one to
I know
say it
he's really
because
onto
everybody
something.
has already said that.
Please, 1 second, please, 1 second. Before everybody gives their opinion, please let it kind of be your closing remark. You understand? Some of us are employees, and
Yeah, so I didn't want to be the one to bring it up, but I also had that fear, and that's why I was saying that I wasn't sure that Mercedes. I wasn't sure about us even winning, in Brazil. But look at it. I, I have that fear too, that it is possible that this track really suits us, and Abu Dhabi is going to be a different story. I think that the Abu Dhabi track will probably suit the Red Bull a little bit more. But then, I mean, let's see. I've said before that I don't think we are there yet. I honestly don't believe that we are completely there yet. I think we are still working on it. I also don't think we should cross our fingers for a win in Abu Dhabi. But I mean, I was wrong, last time, and I mean, let's see what happens. I do think, however, that we've made considerable progress with the car. Right, I think that the upgrades are working, so I have hope for next season. But if I won't be shocked, if we don't win in Abu Dhabi. Thank you.
There's no way we're going to win Abu Dhabi because after Catalonia, where Lewis basically came from last to fourth, I think, everybody thought, oh, Mercedes is back, Mercedes is back. Then we went to Monaco and the Mercedes was nowhere to be found. So I think, yes, the team have definitely made some progress within the season. And this track was definitely good for the Mercedes, but in Abu Dhabi, I think it's still Red Bull with Max Verstappen going for the victory. So
I
we
mean,
have
I
to
mean,
check next year. And next year,
my
let's see if they change the car or they keep the same car.
I just wanted to say that I mean it depends on what you mean by are they back. When you say they're back, I think they're back in terms of being up at the front, the top two, top three. That doesn't mean they're going to win, but I think they are back, and I think but going by the body language of the team, they know what to do with that car now. They know exactly what they're doing now. It may not win this again this season, but I think they are back in the sense that they are back in the game basically. And I think next year we're gonna see a really good team back. So I think they're back. That doesn't mean they have to win, but I think they're gonna be up there fighting Ferrari, fighting Red Bull. So that's what I think their back means.
If they are not back to fight Ferrari and Red Bull, they are not. What are they back? Or are they now back? What are they doing
Please, so
exactly?
thank you. Are we like 3 seconds behind Ferrari back or like
Exactly.
No. We're not even behind Ferrari at all. We
I
are
think you may be ahead
always
of Ferrari, but behind Red
exactly.
Bull.
Yeah.
Oh
Red
wow,
Bull is
ahead of
definitely
Ferrari.
Has
Oh wow.
I said it with
Greenback has to be
confidence,
top
yes.
two.
I said
Oh
it with
wow.
confidence too.
Okay.
you know
Sorry,
that
we are not ahead of Ferrari.
Why I
Oh.
love
Ferrari,
this?
Ferrari
Ferrari's
are just
strategy
sabotaging
team
their
is
races.
Omar
The
Simpson.
race,
That's their strategy maker.
no, Ferrari, we are not ahead of Ferrari. They are just sabotaging their races. All the races in the Ferrari team doesn't want the team to go for it because starting of this year they had a good car, and all of a sudden they vanished. So I don't think we are really that much in front of the Ferrari. It's basically they have bad strategy. That's why we have been able to finish above them in some races.
Sorry, I
The
think
Ferrari
driver
car is
car
also
combination.
eating through its tires too.
Yeah,
Also,
I think driver car combination we are ahead of Ferrari. That's what I think.
Yeah. I think if you're talking about racing, you have to talk about everything: strategy, racing, driver. We are back. That's what I meant. I'm not
No,
even talking about just the driver.
if you're talking about combination between car and driver, then Mercedes is definitely much more in front with
Yeah.
Lewis and
Well,
Mercedes. But if you're
yeah,
talking
yeah.
about the car, then I
Well,
think it's still Ferrari in front of Mercedes.
anyways, the beauty about all this thing is time will tell. We were
Yeah.
all told. We told you guys to wait till Spa. Told you guys to wait till this time. Time will tell. That's the truth. That's the beauty of it.
I am confident. I don't even have to wait. Mercedes are back.
Wow. Interesting.
You are
Nice.
really sure they are
Our
back.
I'll
confidence
hold you
is
on that.
kilo.
I beg don't set
don't
us up
know.
for slander next week
Don't
because
worry about it. They are back. Unless they have a crash or anything, they are back.
You have
Don't
to be
worry.
top two to be back. It's either you are number one or number two. There's nothing like top three because you are already top three, and I think you are number three right now. So it's either top
I
two
think
or
you
number
guys
one.
are
That's all.
also underestimating how far ahead that Red Bull truly is. That car is a monster of a car.
Yeah,
That is a monster of a car.
yeah, but we're not saying we're number one though. We're just saying we're back.
But
yeah,
usually,
but back
They're
when
back to
normally
win. The point.
back
Back
when
when
we are
We are
first.
back. We are back, but we are back of the
is
Red
meant
Bull.
to be
That is
number
the
one
issue.
because you've
The
always been
issue is
number
not
one.
You guys
going
have
back.
not
You
helped
only have to
We
say
are
you
back
are
of the
back when
Red
you
Bull.
are number one or number two. I think.
I kind of maintain that we are ahead of Ferrari, but we are way behind the
Exactly.
Red Bull. We are way behind the Red Bull, way behind the Red Bull. But
Yeah.
we're ahead of Ferrari.
no,
Forget
yeah,
what
I
Max
think
was
if
saying
not for
today,
tire
yesterday.
degradation, yeah, Ferrari will be right on us today. But like their tires, they're literally eating them as they're coming out. I think
And
Sainz or Leclerc
Yeah, but
did like
that's part of
3 to
making the
4
car
times
work.
today.
Mm.
Well, true.
Yeah,
So yeah,
exactly.
but I still think there's something going on with Ferrari's engine as well because they
Well,
turned it on the last time.
we bless God for that.
Because of the altitude. The altitude is what's in the engine to their engine to misbehave.
Yeah, I don't know what it is.
Probably tune the engine down to avoid DNFs or something.
Anyways, guys, thank you very much. It's 1 o'clock at least in my location. So
I still have an hour on you. I'm 12 o'clock.
That's you, bro.
We shall convene
It's
again
1 o'clock
next week.
down here.
Please. So, guys, thank you very much for
Thank you.
joining us evening. It's really fun to hear from everyone. Obviously, we'll be back again next weekend. Final race of the season, and then we end the season with the Red Bull champions for the first time in a long time. But yeah, hopefully there'll be no chaos. We'll see. Anyway, going down to Abu Dhabi, we'll know who takes P2 in Drivers' Championship, and then who is going to finally secure P2 in Constructors, I believe. So yeah, I guess we'll all be looking forward to Abu Dhabi. Latifi's last race. Who else again? Daniel Ricciardo's last race. Vettel's last
Daniel Ricciardo.
race. A lot of last. Alonso's last in Alpine. So who knows what's gonna go on? Yeah, a lot of Gasly's last race in what they call that team? AlphaTauri, yeah, the junior team as well. So hopefully it's a safe race. No safety cars, no or serious red flags. But yeah, let's see how it all goes. Thank you guys again, and I wish everyone a great week ahead. Have a good week.
Bye-bye.